All right. So I just started on the recording of it right now. So just so we can play this back in the future. Got the script book. I don't know if you have yours, the New Agent script book. Severio, I know Mark's got his in front of him.
I do have mine.
Okay, we may jump into it, may not. Gonna
I'm gonna
take it.
grab it. No, okay.
If you want to have it, I got mine handy just in case. And then just you know how I'm big with the journal. It's always good to have that journal. Um,
I got the journal, but
Yeah, don't worry about the training book. If we
yeah.
get into the script book, I should have it downloaded somewhere on here. I could even do a share screen if we end up going that route. But basically, so just Mark and I were just talking about. I want to get the most out of these meetings. Anytime we get something together, we can do it similar to what we used to do in the office, which was like morning ascent, where we start off with affirmations, kind of get fired up,
Hey, you're not gonna
and
say
then
anything about me wearing the hat?
yeah, and Silverio wearing the hat. I don't. What do you want me to say about it? It looks good. I'm glad you didn't burn it. No, it looks good, man. Um, so yeah, so I want to make the most out of it. I want this to be something consistent. I don't know if Saturday mornings is going to be what's best for you, Mark. I know you work. What are your regular hours, Monday through Friday, Mark, with Amgen?
Yeah, so it's 8 to 4:30.
8 to 4:30.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, 8 to 4:30, 8:30 to 5.
and yeah,
So it kind of makes it tough the weekdays,
yeah,
to hop on like in the nighttime. But
yeah.
yeah, Saturday mornings I think are my best bet, or like Sunday afternoons now, since
Cool.
we're all just home.
Nice. So
You
we'll try it out. We're starting to get a pretty consistent schedule, and we're actually going to do calls Monday through Friday. I think I'm going to take Wednesday off though, so it's probably going to be Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, just so I don't throw off what I've been doing already, Silver.
That's good.
But yeah, 4 days is still solid if we actually get four in next week.
Oh yeah. Oh
We're
yeah.
going to start making the pro agent lead calls. I've talked to you about those leads. I haven't set your profile up yet, Mark. But eventually, I want to start training you so that you're ready to be able to hop on the phone, feel comfortable making calls. And to be honest, anybody can learn how to do those. It does help when you have experience like Severio because he's just been around. He's got a lot of experience. So
Yeah.
for him to hop on a call, he can bank off of his past experience, which makes it really easy to be able to create some value and do that. But with that being said, I don't want that getting in your head because for you, it's all about connecting with people. And it's just about
Mhm.
trust, good communication, not sounding like a phone solicitation. You know what I'm saying? So, we're going to do meetings as a group for the pro agent lead team and work on that and start being more consistent with that. And I'm happy to share that with you so you can watch it on your off time. You know what I mean? And check it out and kind of see because we're going to role play, talk about the objections that we're getting, and go from there. So
Okay.
that's just a little bit, kind of what's coming up here in the near future. But it's going to be big to be good on the phone with those internet leads because we can't work open houses. We can't knock doors. Not that we were big on knocking doors in the past, but it's definitely out. It takes away the source of creating new relationships, new opportunities. So really for you, my guess is your biggest thing is going to be your sphere, right? The people that the people at Amgen, that you're going to start creating relationships with. You don't want to be a secret agent. So on social media, how much can you promote? Are you allowed to promote? Are you not supposed to be a real estate agent? What's kind of your setup there with that right now?
Yeah, so as far as I know, I'm good to go, because I know Brittany is posting stuff and
Yeah, no issue.
yeah, no issues with that.
Okay.
Um, since I'm just kind of starting out, it's still kind of, putting myself out there and still like introducing the fact that I'm getting into real estate,
Right,
just because I can pay the dues and all that, and I don't have the legit business cards.
right.
Um, but yeah, it's something that I wanted to get the training in first, and then once kind of when this kind of calms down, we kind of get back on our feet, kind of
Yeah.
just go full steam ahead at that point. But
Well, I'll just put it this way: if you start then, it's gonna be too late. You need to
I was gonna
start
say
now.
that.
You need to start training now. You need to be ready now, and you need to. Everybody always wants to be prepared. Everybody prepares to be prepared and never takes action.
yeah,
You learn by being thrown in the fire and thrown in the situation, and that's how you're gonna figure it out. You're gonna mess up. You're gonna make mistakes. It's all good. That's part of the process. It's part of the learning. You're going to learn the rules. We're going to teach you the rules and show you what works and what doesn't work. You're going to apply it to yourself, and you're going to find your own style, right? And you're going to find what works best for you. But it all works by trying. So obviously, we're not going to get you in trouble. We're not going to, you're not going to do anything that you're not supposed to be doing at this point in time. And I'm trying to be mindful of your Amgen position, because I know you're still creating your reputation there, establishing yourself there, because you're still new to that company. So I get that.
Yeah.
But what you can do in the meantime, what will start helping you with your sphere, is anytime I have a closing, mom or dad has a closing, Brittany and Matt have a closing, start posting that, sharing it. You don't need to even say, hey, I just closed this. All you need to do is just say, just sold. You can put by Ramey and Associates, or by the Ramey sales team, or Veteran Home Service, whatever you want to put. But the second that your audience, your friends, start seeing that, they're already going to associate that you're doing business. And once they start seeing that, you're already going to start establishing yourself as already being busy in it. And that's exactly what Brittany and Matt did from the beginning. And then people started calling them up. And then Matt would be out playing basketball, and people would be like, man, you guys are busy, right? It was mom and dad's business, but nobody else knew that, right? Okay. Because mom and dad aren't on social media. So it's common for a lot of, like, what we used to do back in the day, because we didn't have social media, not to the way that we did now, is, basically new agents would talk to more senior agents that had all the listings, say, hey, can I do a flyer? Can I do a just listed postcard? And they're like, yeah, sure. Or some would be like, no, you can't, but you would find some cool people. Nate Minkle, that's all he did starting out. So back in 2005, 2006, he made it look like it was all his business. It was all just colleagues. They all supported him. And then he was just marketing, just listed, just sold, just sold. Wasn't even his stuff. But people started seeing it and be like, all right, this guy's got his stuff together, right? So with social media, that's all you got to do. Very simple. You can share. I can send you the graphic that I use, and you got the same last name as me. You know what I mean? And a lot of times I just put Ramey and Associates on there. I don't even put Brandon Ramey or Danielle Ramey on there. Sometimes I do, but most times I don't. It'll be in my text message, call me, or even it won't even say my name. It'll just say, call my number. But I'm just trying to get the branding out there on a regular basis, where now people are starting to get familiar with that. And what's crazy is an agent called me up. Do you know Katie Silverio? Katie, I won't say her last. Well, I won't say her last name just because it's recorded, in case I don't think this is a public thing.
Possibly.
But basically, yeah, she's a good agent, right? But she calls me up and she's like, man, she's like, what's cool is with your branding, like, she's like, it never looked like you even moved companies, because everybody already started seeing the R with the circle logo or whatever. And now that I've switched, it wasn't even obvious. Like, it looks like just business as usual. She brought that up. I didn't even bring it up. She was just like, that was smart on what you did. And it wasn't even planned. I was just starting to brand this because I wanted to brand a team. Severio knows, and start trying to build something that, it could be bigger, because I was originally planning to stay in with C21. So I was trying to create a team within C21, start growing and pushing that brand. So anyways, the whole reason why I share that is, when you start doing that, it doesn't have to be your business yet, but it's going to start giving you credibility. Okay. So that's just one. And it's very subliminal. It's not like people are going to call you up and say, hey, Mark, I see you sold this home, and then send you a message, will you work with me? It doesn't work that way. It's just kind of subconscious. Exactly. Unless people know you're working in the business. Because right now, and you just joined Facebook, people don't know you're working in the business yet. To be honest, even I'll forget sometimes, and you're my brother, and I know you're working in it. But when you're reaching out to me and like, hey, let's train, let's do it, then it's like, all right, we got to get back on top of this. But because so many things are going on, and again, I know, and I see Matt and Brittany will call me up, and she's engaged in it more. So I know she's working in the business. Well, if your own brother and your own family can forget about it, right? Even though I know, and we've talked about it, that's how important it is to make sure that you're doing something with social media to let everybody know that you're working in the business. Does that make sense? So, but you do have to be careful, because you got to have your license number on there, which you have a license number already, right? Yeah. So every time you put a social media post on there, you always got to put either LIC number and then your number on it, or DRE number and then put it on. I always do license number, because they've changed it to Calbury, DRE, it's changed so many times. So I just put LIC number and you're good. Okay. So just put that on every post, when you put your name and your phone number and put that, and you're fine. And nobody can find you or anything on any of that stuff. So you're good with that. But yeah, again, at some point it's time to go all in so you get your MLS access, because that's what's going to start happening. When you start making phone calls, you're going to want to set people up on your own searches and set them up so they're getting your information directly from you. And that's really where you start establishing this. So I know it's, it's early on, and you did Russ's training, which is great. Well, you did like 3 days of it, 3 out of the 4.
Yeah, 3 out of the 4.
Yeah, so that's awesome that you got to go through that. Silver, did you ever do that? Peak training? Yeah,
No.
I don't know if they're going to do it again anytime soon, but
Yeah.
they'll probably do it over the online. If they do, it's definitely worth checking out,
Okay.
if you're still hanging around at that point, you know what I mean? If you are, take advantage of that class, man. It's really, I mean, you can hear in our sessions how good it gets with Russ really quick.
Yeah.
It's all content for 8 hours for 4 days straight. And he's been doing it with Coldwell Banker for like 12, 13 years. And he was a trainer for them. So
I didn't realize that he was the one doing the training sessions for C21 until I put the name together. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, Russ. Oh, that's the guy that's having all the trainings, down here.
Yeah, I'm not going to be in business with any Severio. It's you got to be with the best of the best, man. And now, see, the thing with him is that whole internet league thing, bro. That's all they do in Utah, and they always, try to promote that it's all the coaching, all the coaching with George and John, and that's the foundation. That's kind of the structure of it. But the way that the people are killing it, I mean, it's different with everybody, but the 2 teams, one of the top teams called Elite that's out there, that's top 10 in the nation, that's crushing. They got about 16 members on that team, all dudes too, all guys, which I'm not sure what that's about, but maybe it's the Mormon thing because they're just master prospectors, you know what I'm saying? But 16 young kids all on this team. Russ's kid is on the Elite team. Russ's kid's not even on Russ's team. He's on the Elite team, dude. And but dude, they do 6-7 transactions in their first 6 months, and like nothing, because they have these leads coming in, and that's all they do. And so I went to a C21 event and saw him doing the training on it, and basically just talking about how they've had their success. And he said, look, before we used to do just listed, we used to do expireds, we used to do open houses, and we used to try to do these internet leads. And he's like, and we were okay at all of them, but we weren't really good. We weren't a master at any of them. He's like, so we got rid of everything. We picked one, the internet leads, and that's their focus. So the pro agent leads that, we're doing right now, that's all they did. They weren't allowed to do anything else, just that. And so when they focused on that, dude, they generate, just from the internet leads, over $1 million in commission just off of that. Their price point is half of what ours is. So they have to do double the volume to generate over $1 million in commissions. So, and that's strictly off of it, but they drop about $10,000 a month on generating those pay-per-click leads. He paid for the whole team to go to Tony Robbins, which at the discount is still $600 a head, for the 4 days. So for 16 people, that's over, $6,000 just on that. But he paid for the room and board, dude, covered the trip. He takes care of his people because they're out there hustling and doing everything for him. So, I know the potential there. And that's the good thing about Russ is Russ, he knows what they're doing out there that's working. And we're not doing it here in California. We're not doing it as a team with Russ's team and, Russ and myself and what we're trying to do. I haven't seen anybody on a mass level doing it to that kind of level. Jose Luis is probably the closest. And I already know what system he's using because he hit Jason Harrelson up. So he's doing it all off of Real Geeks, off of their internet leads, which is decent. But Mark, I'm just sharing all this because I want you to understand, because for you right now, it's going to be challenging to work open houses. You've been doing good about getting in there and trying to plug at the open houses. What has your experience been from those so far, the open houses that you've worked?
So it's been a lot better, right? So when I first started, I guess the locations weren't the best. But the last few ones, that I've done, like Edgemont was really good. The last one we did, and the one we did together, Los Nogales.
Right.
But just getting that experience of actually talking to, potential clients, and I actually handed my card out a few times at the last one, which was really good. And the dad even had me do a couple of tours, which I'd never done before.
Right.
Of the house, which was good. But just getting that experience and touring a house and kind of talking to potential people, because in the past, like last year, maybe only 2 people would come in or 1 person would come in, right?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even get experience. And, so it was frustrating doing those analysis, but the last, I want to say 2 or 3 have been just so much more positive in the fact that I got more experience with it.
Yeah.
So.
How many people would you say came in those last few that you were in?
Man, so Edgemont, even though, so it was after quarantine broke out, I think it was like the first Sunday, we had probably about 25 people.
That's crazy.
It was good. It was really good. And Dad, he just said, all right, just do a tour. I'm nervous, but it's the first time doing a tour, and I'm like, all right, let me try it. And then, but I got more experience doing it, so it wasn't as bad.
Yeah.
Which helps out.
Well, you go ahead.
Go ahead. I just wanted to put a point to the conversation that Mark is saying, locational wise, when you say, Mark, when you say, well, it wasn't the right location or stuff like that. I remember when I started, I didn't think about location. I just thought about an opportunity to meet people. And it wasn't about, oh, well, this location is not going to work. This location is far away or whatever that situation is. I just thought about, and I get it now that I have more experience. But before, I just wanted to be there to meet people and have an opportunity to talk to people. And I didn't care what was it. It's just like, let me talk to people, right? But what I learned from that is that it's not the location, is the price point. Because if the location is bad but the price is right, there's people going to show up in there,
right?
So I always thought about that afterwards. I'm like, you know what, like now you see houses, I mean, if you have a listing around 500,000, 400,000, 450, that it doesn't matter what location that place is at, you're going to have people showing up because there's nothing at that price point that's going to drive people in there.
It's a great point.
Yeah,
no, great clarification there. And that's what's cool. That's why I wanted Saverio to hop on here too. Just one, it's good for us to be connected, good to get the energy going. That was one of the things that really drew Saverio to join in Century 21 and joining me over there. And he said, he's like, it's only because of you. It's only because of the energy that we have when we get together. And he's like, and I trust you. And that's why we're doing it, and that's why we're still connected today, because we both get that from each other. I get it from Saverio. Saverio gets it from me. It recharges both of us. It helps us both stay more focused. So this is a mastermind group. It's a mastermind alliance with like-minded people who, we're not trying to one-up each other. We're not trying to outdo the next person. We're trying to help each other be our very best. And so when you can get aligned with it, you're not on your own. And Mark, I'm not saying it just because you're my brother. You're a good guy. You're natural. You're good with people. People trust you. You're a great communicator. So you have all the natural things, the natural skills that will make you very successful in this business. The key is to be very focused, to be relentless, to keep trying, to not be afraid to take chances. And you just got to keep going for it. And you'll deal with your level of rejection till you get to the point of where you feel comfortable with yourself and you feel comfortable with the information, and you feel comfortable with people, of leading them the right way. And you're even comfortable to the point of saying, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but let me find out for you. Or I'm not 100% on that. Let me check with my colleague, or let me check with my broker, or let me check with my dad, however you want to say it, right? Because you have all the support around you. That's what I had coming into the business when I was 22 years old. So I came in fired up, had my cell phone sales job, so I had a little bit of sales experience. I knew I was good speaking with people, but I knew I had that support. So I felt like I was unstoppable coming in as a young agent, where many people at 22 years old would have been afraid to speak to people about $500,000 transactions. You know what I'm saying? Or and higher. And that's what we have right now. So most of it's in our own head. And you're going to find that out. I don't care how long you've been doing it. Most of it's in your own head. You limit yourself. You just got to go for it. You know what I'm saying? And it's not as complicated as you may think it is. And you'll see once you start trying to do it. So, I know you've.
No, you saying that. I appreciate that. I think that's been my biggest hurdle in the past is, for one, and I've always been the type to be like the penny pincher. You know what I mean? Save the money. Think about the $2,000 as this great amount of money that I can't afford because I want to pay off debt or I want to focus that money on something else.
Right.
But that's the reason why I reached out to you last year, because I got tired of that mindset and just saying, you know, I finally want to do this. That's why this meeting today means a lot, you know, just because I finally am taking a step in that direction.
Exactly.
And you know what, Mark? The more you do it, the more you step out of your comfort zone, the more you're gonna grow, and the more confidence you're gonna get. And if you keep yourself positive, these things are gonna work. They're gonna work. It's been proven. It works.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. The wheel's already there. We just need to get the wheel in our head turning, so we can go along with it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's for me, just getting that confidence, you know, with you guys, that kind of get me to that level where I can make these phone calls and I can be comfortable enough to just make a phone call, you know, and say, hey, and, you know, just go through what we practiced and just that confidence level to get better.
Let's just jump right into it real quick. Okay. So I'll role play with Saverio to start with. Okay. I'm going to, let's see, I'm trying to think of something that you could use, something similar to it. Okay, so I got a listing, and you can use this listing, either of you can use this listing to call your sphere with, okay? So the Thousand Oaks property, it's a 2-bedroom. You may want to write some notes on it just so that you got it, because this is something you can talk about. It's on 2050 Pine Terrace. I need to get the exact, just so I have the right square footage, but it's right around 1160 square feet. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, single story. It's got AC. It's an in-unit. It's got a 2-car garage. It's got 2 courtyards, so one in the front, one in the back, or like on the side that connects between the house and the 2-car garage. Courtyards aren't as important, but it is single story, and it's in a great location, great neighborhood. Got to pull the HOA. I want to say the HOA is around $325. It's actually, I think it's $335 a month for the HOA. It has a swimming pool, tennis courts. It's one of the nicer communities. Trying to remember, I think it's called Woodlands. This is all off the top of my head, so I'll double check this to make sure you guys got the accurate info, but that's enough to kind of work with there. And it's right over by the DMV, so it's off of Avenida de los Arboles.
Okay. Yeah, that's what it is.
Arboles and Herbs. There's another good school right by it. I think it's called Los Cerritos, but it's a good either elementary, I think elementary or middle, right across the street. They got a cool park in the area. Awesome location though. Thing with this property, and you'll hear some of it as we go through the call. The first thing we want to do on the call is get their curiosity going, right? So you want to reach out to them and get their wheels going to where it piques their interest that they want to hear more information. Did you hear that, Mark?
Yeah. I'm just writing this down.
So, and this was actually in one of the trainings that Russ did recently, where he talked about get their curiosity. So there's 3 things that you typically want to do on the call. First, you got to connect with them. We got to lower the guard. If it's a sphere, it's easier. So if it's somebody you already know, they already want to hear from you. If it's not somebody you know, you want to talk to them like they're an old best friend, right? Comfortable. Just say, hey, Saverio, how you doing today? And they're like, does this guy know me? You know what I'm saying? But it sounds much more genuine than just, hi, this is Brandon Raymond with Century 21, or hi, this is Brandon Raymond with Veteran Home Services. How are you doing? You really got those initial seconds to either create some credibility or not. And if you don't, they're going to shut you down right away. So you got to be comfortable. That's probably the hardest part to practice, is that initial part. Once you get going, it's not that bad. Okay. And it's not about all the things we say, even though I talk a lot, right? Because it's just what I do.
No, you don't.
Right. But once I do that, and I hypnotize them with my words, right? Once I do that, then I start asking questions, they open up. I believe that if you give than you can get, right? But I have to give first. I got to give value first. I got to earn the right to ask you questions. Does that make sense? Otherwise,
so Brandon, how would you're saying you give to get, like, is that in your initial greeting, I guess?
a little bit.
How would you
Yeah, you'll see right now. Okay. So ring, ring. Severo, you're the
buyer.
You're somebody that's a sphere call. Yeah. Potential buyer,
Okay.
or potential seller. You're somebody that I already know. You're a friend of mine.
Got it.
I'm calling you up and telling you about this property. Okay,
Got
so
it.
this is a sphere of influence call, but it's also a just listed call, or upcoming soon property is actually an easier way to say it. But there's a script called the just listed script, and you can get that, but you'll see how I do it and which questions I bring up and how I start generating this. Okay, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, hey, what's up, Severio? It's Brandon. How you doing?
Hi, Brandon. How you doing?
Come on, man. You don't say it like that when I call you up. What up, man? How you doing, Severio? What's crack-a-lacking, man? What's going on?
Like that?
Right? What's going on, bro? How are you doing?
Oh, not much. Not much. Just doing some stuff around the house and, just doing some things. How about you? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. And that is how he always responds. How you doing, right? I'm doing great, brother. Thank you for asking, man. Everybody's good. Everybody's safe, healthy. Family's doing good.
We're all good. We're all good.
Good. How's Sean doing?
He's doing great. He's doing great. It's over there in boot camp right now and having fun. And it looks like he's having fun now. He wasn't having fun at the beginning, but he kind of got a hang of it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, you already know, man. Thank him for his service. I know it's got to be hard on you. I've seen some of the posts, man, and I know it's tough not having your boy there. So just want you to know you're in our thoughts and prayers. Sean's in our thoughts and prayers, man. We love you guys, and you need anything, you let us know. All right, bro.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay. So did that feel sincere?
Yeah.
It looked like it.
It was.
Because we actually we talk about the real thing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's about sincerity. See, I even start getting teary-eyed just talking about it, because when you care about people, you speak from the heart, you connect with them. It's key, man. They got to know this isn't just about me trying to make a call, set an agenda, right? You got to take expectations off. When you talk to your sphere, it's forward, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. That's a way to remember what the conversation is going to be about. What did I talk about with Severio?
Talked about family.
Family.
About his son. You talked about
how's he doing, right? That could be about his occupation. That could be if I saw on social media, this is why social media is so important. If I saw he just went on a trip somewhere, if I saw he went on a hike somewhere, I'm going to start talking about that, right?
Okay.
You got to connect first. It's about connecting. Okay. It's about sincerity.
It's connected in that opening. You know what I mean?
And do you notice how it's kind of short to the point, even though I'm a talker, right? I'm not getting into, hey, Severio, da, 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 la, 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 right? It's, hey, how you doing, man? What's up? Or how you doing, Severio? What's going on, man? It's quick to the point, and I want to hear a response from him. Once I hear a response from him, now I know kind of what mood Severio's in. And Severio's always upbeat and always positive, and that's just who he is, right? Typically. But if he's not, and I catch it and it's like, and I hear it down, I know something's up. You know what I'm saying? So these are where these questions are. And if I know something's up, now I'm going to ask, hey, what's going on, bro? Is everything good? Yeah. It's all right, man. Things are a little bit slower than I want it to be, or, really sucks. Sean's out, man, and I'm missing him. Whatever it is, we're going to hear about it, and we're going to start talking about that. Now, a lot of the Mike Ferry scripts and all that stuff, they say don't ask how you're doing. They want to make it straight business, straight to the point, driver, let's jump straight to business. If it's not a money call, let's move to the next, right? Mm-hmm. That's not how I work, and that's not what's been effective for me. For me, it's about trust. It's about relationship. It's about love. It's about caring about people, and it's truly being interested in what it is that's happening in their lives. So if you can do that, and you do that well, people are going to open up to you. They're going to share with you. And this is about getting people to trust you and open up into the conversation that eventually you want to get to, if it gets to that. But if it doesn't, it's okay. It's fine if it doesn't get to the real estate part. If it's strictly and Severio's busy and he's telling me things and I can tell he's got to go, we're going to keep it short as it can be with me, right? We're going to keep it short and then and do what we can and then hopefully reconnect at another point, right? So you got to listen to people, especially when it's your sphere, it's your family, it's your friends, it's people you care about, you know what I mean? Especially with that, you got to be very mindful. And one thing that I learned from Laura Lee actually early on when she was coaching me, she was my very first real official real estate coach. She taught me because she knew I was a talker. She was like, look, get a little egg timer, put it on for 3 minutes, talk, try to make all your sphere calls 3-minute calls so that I can get through my calls, right? Not make every call a 30-minute call. Make your sphere calls 3-minute calls. You know, talk to them, let them know, hey, this is a business call at some point. You know, the reason why I'm calling is for this. I got this listing coming up and we're going to get into that. I'm going to show you some of that. I just want to show you my style and what works for me because it's all about trust. And it's about, it's called relationship tension. It's in a book called Versatile Selling. So if you ever get a chance, get that book. It's called Versatile Selling. And that talks about the different personality styles. It's $12 for that book on Amazon. And it's Thompson Learning Group, I think is who produced it. I need to order another one too. So I'll probably order it right after we get off this call now that we're talking about it now. So, so get that book when you can. Real short, quick book. It's less than 100 pages. It's got diagrams and things. But one of the things they talk about is relationship tension. So that's the first tension. And the tension is high. So we got to get that tension down. When the tension's high, they keep their cards close. They're not opening up. They don't trust you. They're not talking to you. This is even your sphere. This could be your sphere. This could be Severio if he thinks I'm trying to sell him something. If he thinks I'm trying to recruit him, right? His tension could be up. No, serious. I mean, we've talked for a long time. You know what I mean? Back in the day, it took how many years before you finally came over to C21?
I don't know, maybe, gosh, 4 years or
So
something.
now I really don't feel bad that I had to leave when I did, man. I was trying for 4 years. You could have been working with me for 3 years at least. You waited a whole year. You talk about playing hard to get, man. This guy's, you talk about tension was up. Even as cool as he can be, he was like, "No, I don't trust this guy. I'm gonna see what he's about." You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep.
No, it's not that I didn't trust you. It's just I felt comfortable where I was, and I didn't want to make the move. You know, I'm just like, I'm good. You know, I'm good, and
Anyways, I wasn't good enough. I wasn't strong enough to convince him earlier on. And yes, he was comfortable. He was comfortable with where he was at. And the way I am, I respect people, especially Severio, in terms of knowing he's his own man. He's going to make his own decisions when it's right for him. And so that's another part of the versatile selling is identifying and understanding who you're communicating to. And depending on the personality and the style that they are, at times Severio is a driver. A driver is somebody who's straight to the point, right? He's probably more driver than he can be other personalities. But I also see an analytical side to Severio. So there's 4 main quadrants. You got driver, you got analytical, you have amiable, and then expressive. And we'll do, don't worry about it right now, Mark.
Oh, okay.
We'll do a more specific training on that moving forward in the future with the social styles, right? Yeah. And most people are going to be a predominantly one category. So whether Severio agrees he's a driver or not, I've seen it in situations, right? And sometimes under stress or pressure, people are more one personality. Severio's also seen it with me in situations. He's seen how my typical social style is, which people have said amiable, people have said analytical. I'd probably say it's more analytical because I talk a lot, and people will get expressives and analyticals confused, right? Because they both talk a lot. They both talk a lot. So sometimes people see me talk a lot and they're like, oh, he's expressive, but I'm not expressive. But I can get misassociated, and it's not about what I think I am. It's about what other people think you are. It's how they perceive you. That's more important, right? So, but under stress, you can ask Danielle. When Danielle learned about the 4 social styles, she's like, yeah, you're not an amiable. She's like, you're a driver 100%. I'm like, well, my bad. You know, I said, I guess it can be that way, right? But under stress, that's the personality that I am definitely more of, is that driver side, right? Straight to the point, really, I don't care about the emotions aspect of it. It's about results. It's about getting it done. You know what I mean? And you'll talk to people when they pick up the phone. They're like, hello, hey, hi, what's this about? You know what I mean? And they're just straight to it. That's a driver. So if you're like, hi, yeah, I was just calling to, you're done, right? So you need to answer, hi, right back. Mirror, match and mirror, whatever. If they say hi, you say hi. They say hello, you say hello, right? They say it fast, you talk fast. They talk slow, you slow it down. They talk softer, you talk softer. So it's matching and mirroring so that you get on the same wavelength. And now that tension starts coming down. Okay. So you got to slow it down. You got to change your speeds up based on who you're speaking to. Does that make sense?
No, it does. But if they're really short on the phone with you, would you kind of use the same tone with them? You know what I mean? Like if they're a driver.
Yeah. Huh? Yeah, you do. And sometimes they'll hang up the phone on you. And then you got to decide, do I want to call them back or not? And Severa knows we're calling them back, right? Sorry, I think we got disconnected somehow, right? And go for it. I mean, this is all. You got to make it a game sometimes too.
You have to be resilient about it, because if you're not, every phone call that you make, it's gonna drop you, and then you're like, oh, then you're gonna start getting frustrated about it.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna go, this sucks. I wouldn't want to be doing this, you know. Right. But if you think like that, now you're building a wall around you yourself. Nobody else is doing it.
Yeah.
You know, you're cutting yourself short and getting discouraged to say, you know what, I think I'm just gonna watch TV or watch a movie or something. I'm gonna go to the movies instead. And and you start, because there's a lot of people in this business that become needy people, prima donnas. They like, oh, this doesn't work for me. They haven't even tried really to the point to say, you know what, I can master this. Because there's a few things you can do, but you can master any of these things, any of these skills. All you gotta do, just gotta put your mind into it. Because if you don't, you're gonna jump to one, oh no, it wasn't for me. Then you go try something else, go door knocking, and then you're like, no. So where are you gonna fit?
Right. No,
you gotta make an effort to say, you know what, I'm gonna try this, and I'm gonna do it, and I'm just gonna try the best I can.
Yeah, and because I jumped into it too quick, Mark. When you started bringing it up, with the driver, you're talking to a driver. What was your question, your full question that you were going to ask?
So just asking, when you get that personality type on the phone on the other end, would you mirror that personality type too? You know what I mean? Like, let's say we're role playing and you're really short with me on the phone. How would I respond to that?
Same way. So it sounds crazy. You're like, yeah, right. Like, how's that going to work?
What do you want? Huh?
Right. So what's your problem, man? I'm just trying to do my job here, right? What the fuck? What's going on? But no, it's crazy. I had one. It was a recruiting call, and the dude's totally just being a prick, and he's being a driver, and he's just smart ass comment after smart. He was a Keller Williams, which they hated us. Especially the SEME, the Brian Troop and the SEME guy, Robert Harris used to work for him. So they used to just steal people from each other all the time. So once the game started getting played, that's where I got Anissa from, was KW. I started just swooping KW agents. It's like, here we go. Here's one. Here's another. Here's another. And just started bringing them. You know what I mean? Like, all right, that's how it's going to be. Let's go. So, but this KW guy starts just cracking his little smart ass comments left and right, dude. So I'm laughing, and then I'm just serving it back to him, and we're just going with it the whole and literally we had it, but I could tell there was a mutual respect by the end of the conversation, even though we're both like, it's getting pretty froggy on the phone. So the only reason why I'm saying that is what you'll find is it's the initial wall that they throw up. They want to see how you respond, and most people are weak, or most people crumble, and they're off the phone. That's why they do it, right? That's all they're trying to do is throw that guard up so that you just say, okay, sorry for wasting your time. I'm out, right? Because, and people will they're tired of solicitations. I'm tired of solicitations. That's what I'm saying. You got to be able to create the value quick. So don't overthink that. But the very beginning of the book is what's the golden rule, Mark? The golden rule.
What's the golden rule?
Golden rule.
Others that you want to be treated?
Exactly. That's the golden rule. Do you know what the platinum rule is?
Yeah, Mark.
right?
Okay.
You know what the platinum rule is? And this
Treat
is
others the way they should be treated,
the way they want to be treated.
or the way that. Okay.
Yeah, not the way they should be, the way they want to. So how do we identify how they want to be treated?
By the way we want to be treated.
Nope. That's the golden rule. That's the misperception, right? That's the bias that we have in our head, is that we think people want to be treated the way we want to be treated. So we start assuming that they want to be treated that way. That's not the case. You got to read the personality style, who they are, and treat them how they want to be treated. You have to be the leader that they need you to be in every situation. Every person is different. Everybody needs a different type of leader. Every person needs a different type of communicator. Some people need more energy. Some people need you to slow it down. Some people need more direction. Some need more questions. Okay? Some need you to tell them. Some need you to ask them. And asking, for me, always goes a lot further than telling people what to do, right? So you got to find out what your style is. You'll find out what works. But more than anything, it's not just about you feeling comfortable. It's about them feeling comfortable. And you got to find out how to get them to feel comfortable. When you can do that, that's the skill set. And that's what I want to talk about early on before all of this. It's not about the content. It's not about knowing what the interest rates are or what the market's doing and all those details. Those are things you need to learn. But more importantly, you got to know people. You got to be able to read them. You got to know how to communicate with them. You have to know how to connect with them. First, they got to like you, right? Then they'll start to trust you. Then they'll allow you to lead them. So it's that type of style. So they got to like you up front, right? And so you got to find a way not to make everybody love you. It's not about being their best friend, but it's about getting people to feel comfortable with you. And if you can get them to feel comfortable with you, you know, a lot of times it's apologizing. I've heard Silverio say, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that, right? And that's humility. That speaks volumes on who you are as a person, on being humble and humility to be able to say, hey, my bad. I'm sorry. You know, my bad on doing that. Guess what happens? Do you think the tension goes up or down when that happens?
It goes down.
It lowers the guard.
Yeah.
So now people will listen to you. Now they'll actually hear you out. Now they'll communicate with you, right? So you'll find out it's okay to apologize. It's okay to, you know, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you, even though you got a driver on the other side. And then sometimes they'll say, well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to come. You know, it's just, I'm tired of these damn phone calls. I got every agent calling me. And then so what you say is, I would be frustrated. I would feel the exact same way you feel if I were you too. You give them permission to be mad. You give them your acknowledgement that you would feel exactly the same way they feel if you were them too, right? Once you do that, what happens? Guard lowers.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So these are all sales skills, tactics, whatever you want to call it, to help you understand the mindset of who you're speaking to get them to listen and start opening up. So now if you do that, and you say, Mark, I can tell you're frustrated, tell you're tired of, you know, all these calls that are coming in, and I'd feel exactly the same way if I were you too. Now the guard comes down. Let me ask you, Mark, what do you want to accomplish ultimately with the sale of your home?
Well, I want to get it sold, and I want to get it at the right price.
So you want to get it sold, and you want to get it at the right price. What's the right price for you, Mark?
Well, for me, it'd have to be $575.
$575. So if you got $575, if I could get you $575 for the sale of your home, would you consider me to list your home and sell your property?
Well, I would consider you, but I would want to meet you.
Okay. So you would want to meet me. And let me ask you this. Why do you think that your previous agent couldn't get you $575?
Well, you know, I think they were just too busy. You know, as I felt I was kind of last on the list, and they were kind of focusing their time on other clients. So I kind of felt I was, you know, not really cared about in that sense.
Sorry to hear that, Mark. And that does happen quite a bit. So that shouldn't be the way that you feel. You should feel that you are the top priority of whatever agent you go into contract with that represents you. Is that what you're looking for, Mark?
That is, yeah. That's something
Awesome.
I'm hoping to find. You know what? So I guess with you, what would make you that agent that can help me and make me the priority to get this home sold? Because I want it sold, I'm hoping, within the next 30 days.
Awesome. Well, my promise to you, Mark, if you hire me to sell your home, I promise that I, number one, will make you every penny, every dollar we can make in the sale of your property. That's my number one promise, and we will do it within 30 days. If I can get you every penny and get you top dollar for the sale of your home within 30 days, would you be willing to sell the home with me? One second. Dada. Yeah, but 1 second. Okay, thank you, buddy. Did you hear my question? You want me to do it again?
Yeah. No, yeah, if you could repeat that.
Okay. So Mark, if I could promise you to get you top dollar to protect your hard-earned equity, right? Get you every penny, market value, and hopefully and some, but get you every penny for the sale of your home and make sure that your home is sold in 30 days, would you then list your home with me if I could promise you that?
Yeah, if you could promise me that, then yes, I would.
Awesome. Well, you know, I'm going to send the paperwork over to you. I'll send it to you online. If you want to meet in person, we can meet in person, but I'm going to send it to you so you can see our paperwork, get familiar with it, and I'm more than happy to sit down and explain it all to you. If you feel comfortable and confident and you're ready to get it rolling right now, I know and I guarantee that I'll sell your home in the next 30 days. Okay? With my experience, with my track record, with my network, with all the people that I work with, I know, because I know this market and I know the price you want at $575 is very attainable. Okay? I can't promise you that we're going to get $575, but I'm going to get you every penny that we can get you. And if you want to list at $575, we're going to list it at $575, and I'm going to push it as hard as I can to make sure that your home is sold in the next 30 days. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, that is.
So every time I make a strong promise and conviction, how do I finish it?
You're asking a question, you know, you're making the conviction, but then you're asking me, like, I think it's called like a reaffirmation, or it's kind of like, is that what you want? Or is that what you're looking for?
It's called a tie down. It's a closing question. Okay. So what I'm doing every time I make a strong promise, every commitment, I ask you, is that what you're looking for? Isn't that what you want? Right? So I'm trying to get you to self-discover. I'm leading you with leading questions down the rabbit hole to list your home with me. But I need to first know what you're frustrated about, what it is that you're looking for, and then I got to promise and commit that I can deliver on what it is that you're looking for.
Okay.
So a way to be even stronger with it, I can say something, well, Mark, what if I told you the last 20 homes I've listed in the last year, 2 years, I've sold every single one of those for top dollar. And I can give you their names and phone numbers of the sellers and owners so that you can see. On top of that, Mark, and not just trying to, you know, because I'm sure you hear this from other salespeople, right? I'm sure you've heard, oh yeah, they can get the job done. I'll send you my track record. I'll also show you where my list price for sold price was. And what that tells you is what we listed the home at versus what it sold at. And guess what my percentage is?
Guessing pretty high?
100.4%. So one thing I can promise you, Mark, is I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear just to get your listing and just to have it sit and then make you the bottom of my list. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear to get your home sold so you can have your home sold in the next 30 days. Is that what you want?
It is.
Do you see the difference in that conviction and the way I asked that question, how I set it up? You can do all that, Mark. Now, the stats is something I can pull in. The stats is something I can show that track record. You can use my track record. And you can just show those, you're a part of my team. You see what I'm saying? So you can show that and speak with that same conviction and say, you know, we sell 100.4% list price for sold price. The other thing you can leverage is my average days on market. It used to be under 14. Now it's about 16 days. It's probably gone up a little bit with, you know, the recent changes of the market. But for all of those homes, my average days on market was 16 days to go into escrow. Guess what the average is for Camarillo?
How much?
What would you say, Severio? Average for Camarillo, average days on market before it goes into escrow?
Probably a month.
What's that?
A month.
About a month. 45, that was when the market was good. Now we got COVID throwing everything off, right?
60 days, yeah, more.
Yeah. And it was already pushing close to 90. In Thousand Oaks, 109 days average days on market. 93035, 160 days average days on market. So how do you think 16 days sounds compared to 160 or 109 or 90 days, right? And then also the other stats I'm going to pull up is there were 30 homes that were listed for sale. 17 of them canceled or expired. I sold the last 20 of my listings. Every single house I listed, I've sold. How strong does that sound? You see what I'm saying? We have 100% track record. It's not even a 99.9. It's 100%. Every single home I've listed, I've sold. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear to get your home sold. These are the type of promises that will make you the difference between okay to being able to take every single listing, every call that you get, that you can actually set that appointment or at least have a strong chance at setting that. That's how you can pull a for sale by owner. That's how you can pull an expired. So there's certain things, and I don't expect you to do this right out the gate, Mark. It took me 15, 16 years, as well as some extensive training for the last 4 years of some top producing people, coaches, managers, everything else, to finally get to where it's like light bulbs going off. I finally get it. Finally get what needs to happen. Well, what I'm trying to do for you is shorten that from 16 years down to 6 months to a year, hopefully, right? And by the end of that time, if you can do that and you can feel confident on a call to take a listing, those are the hardest to take. Versus buyers and sellers, most people start off with buyers first because it's more of who you know. Meeting somebody, if you meet them in an open house and you know a little bit about the market and you can go out and show them, there's just less pressure. Because most times we're not pushing a buyer broker agreement. With a listing agreement, they're signing a contract. They're picking you out of Severio, myself, and the other 2,000 agents in Camarillo. So they're going to hire you. So it's a job interview. How good are you at job interviews, right? And if you're good at job interviews, you're going to be good at listing presentations, which I know you're good at job interviews. I know you've taken strong jobs. I know you got an MBA. I know that you have the track record, the sales. I know you got phone experience dealing with loan modifications. I know that you've done debt collection. I know you've done things that a majority of real estate agents have never had that kind of experience. You're not coming into this as a rookie, Mark. You're coming into this with business and life experience that you're going to be able to connect people with, and they're going to start talking about a situation. You're going to be like, well, actually, I used to do loan modifications for Bank of America for 4 to 7 years. Help many different people and evaluate that process. So what you want to do is you want to call B of A or you want to call your mortgager, talk to them about it, show them the hardship, and start walking through the process. You have a lot to pull in, as well as your family as your support, for you to know that you can handle any situation. And if you can't, all you say is, you know what, I'm not 100% sure about that, but let me find out and I'll get back to you. When's the best time to call you back? Write it down. That's your out every single time. And they may not take you seriously again after that. So be it. Or they may respect you for being honest, not being a BSer, not making a promise that you can't fulfill. And that's what gets hard about making that kind of conviction and that type of promise, is you got to believe that you can do it. And if you don't believe you can do it, they're going to hear it in your voice. They're going to hear it in your throat. You know what I'm saying? As you're speaking, they're going to hear it in your conviction in terms of your tone and your belief of what you do. So there's 2 fundamental beliefs when you go into a listing presentation. What are those beliefs, Severio? 2 beliefs.
2 beliefs. One is that you're sure that you're the right agent for the job.
Are you sure?
And yeah. And the other one is you can get the job done.
Attaboy. 2 beliefs. 1, you're the best person for the job. You are the number 1 agent. You are the best agent. It doesn't matter if people have more past sales. What would be a good objection handler? If somebody says, hey, Mark, you know what? You sound like a great guy. I really had, you know what? I like you. It's been a great conversation, but I pulled up your Zillow and it doesn't look like you got too many past sales. I just don't know if I feel comfortable selling it with you, versus somebody who's, sold 100 homes in the last year. How do you respond to that?
Well, that's something I can understand. If I was in your shoes, I would see that as well. But what I lack in experience, I can make up in hard work. I'm surrounded by a team that has over 20 years experience, a 2nd generation realtor. I know who I can reach out to get the job done. And with my personality, I've always been the type to go that extra mile for my client. And with you, I would just appreciate the opportunity to be able to represent you. It'd be a true honor. It would be something that I will make sure that I'm guided each step of the way, that we can make it happen for you.
Nice. What do you think, Silver?
Um, I think he probably will lose the listing at that point.
Why would you say that?
And I'll tell you why. Because people don't want to, if people are selling their homes, they don't want somebody that say, you know what, I'm gonna have somebody to guide me through the process, because he's supposed to be the guy that's gonna lead the process.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then if you put that in the seller's mind, they're gonna go like, well, yeah, you're a nice guy, but really we're selling a house for, you know, $500,000, 700,000. I don't think I want anybody with that. You know, I, another thing that I saw is the hesitation of convincing the seller to say, you know what, hey, I can understand what you're saying, but we have, you know, once you start saying we, you start bringing the team together. We have, you know, our record is, you know, this. We sell our homes at this price, blah blah blah, and you just gotta deliver with more confidence, because,
Okay.
like you said, seller will, or anybody will catch that. You know, once you start talking, and they're like, I don't know, I didn't feel that this guy was talking like confident. You know,
Yeah.
you gotta make them believe. You gotta fake it until you make it. You know what I mean? You gotta make them believe that you're confident on the stuff that you're gonna do for them, and that's what people like most of the times, is the confidence that the way you speak to them. They're like, you know what? They might even call you a bullshitter and say, you know what, this guy's a good bullshitter, but he can get the shit done. I can tell you, he can get the shit done. You know, and that's what they're looking for. They're looking for somebody that have confidence and say, you know what, here's what's going to happen, this, and you call the shots, you call the numbers, you show them the numbers, you know, the market value around the property, and and sometimes they say, well, you know, so and so can get this much money. Well, and then if you prove it, say, well, how can they get this much money when this property over here around the corner from your house sold for this much? It's exactly almost the same as your house. Where's that other money going to come from? And when you're talking about these numbers, you're confident about it, and you say, and everybody that wants to buy your house is going to look at that comp right there, and that is going to dictate the price of your house.
So
I guarantee you. And,
Great.
and it's not like you pulling just ideas out of your head. You're actually showing him numbers. Look, this is what's going on. The numbers don't lie.
Great points. Good job.
Uh,
So, Mark, did you want to respond to it, or do you want?
Well, just a question I had, you know,
Yeah.
so let's say they look me up. I don't have a track record yet personally.
Right.
How do I defend that when they say, you know, I looked you up, you seem like a great guy, but you don't have the numbers that I'm looking for? I'm looking
Right.
for an agent that has 50 sales, 100 sales. You're just starting out, so why would I pick you?
Right.
How can I defend defend that
Right.
when I'm just starting out, I guess?
Right. Great question. So, number one, remember when we talked about limiting beliefs, being in our own head?
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I brought that situation up is because I guarantee this is going to be your biggest hesitation of taking action, right? The fear of somebody calling you on that. And what I'm going to tell you from experience, if you sound confident, if you're talking to people, I've talked to guys that are 19 years old that the guy didn't know I'm talking about Sean. Were you in there when Sean was in there? Do you remember Sean Severio? Anyways,
Sean over there in C21?
Yeah. 19 years old. The guy's just a big talker on everything, tries to almost over the top. And it's like, dude, what are you talking? Like, it's not even funny, but you know, confidence through the roof. And people still, they could probably tell by the stuff he would say that he really didn't know what he was talking about, but he just was like, all right, well, you know, everything was on there. Dude, no tracker, no nothing. And the reason why I share that is because it's to piggyback off what Severio said. When you believe the two things, one, you're the best for the job. Two, you can get the job done, right? But what you should come up with after we get off this call is the list of how you're going to handle that objection. And
Okay.
I actually thought you did a great job. I thought, and I'm not just saying this because this is you're my brother. I thought your sincerity was on a scale of 1 to 10. You were at a 9 or a 10 in sincerity. And that's where Severio said he liked you. He's like, he can tell you're a nice guy, but your objection handler, if somebody calls you on stats and says they're going to pick somebody else over you just because of their track record and what they got, you got two big things to pivot. One, Ramey and Associates, right? The group, the team, and leverage the team and what the team has done. And you're a part of a team with proven results that will get the job done, right? That's how you speak with the conviction. Number two, that you can get the job done. You have the resources. You have everybody around you with second generation in the business, 7 family members that have all worked in Ventura County real estate, that have a great reputation, that have a proven track record. And that's why we have 7 listings right now, or whatever the amount of listings is that we have at that given point in time, right? You speak with results. You speak with numbers. That's where Saverio started talking about comps and pricing and other things. And we're going to teach you that. We'll show you how to get into those things. But to be honest, your objection handlers are usually pretty quick and to the point. And all it is you don't necessarily have to even answer the question. If somebody hits me on commission, I don't need to tell them commission right there. I just need to acknowledge that money is important to you, obviously, right? You don't say obviously, but you're saying, so they're like, so what do you charge commission? Mark, you sound great. Everything's great. But what do you charge commission? And then my response is going to be, so you're telling me, or, so it sounds to me that you making the most from the sale of your home is very important to you. Is that what I'm hearing? Yes, that's what I'm hearing, right? Great. Well, let me show you when we get together tomorrow at how, when we work together, I'll share with you what the commission structure is and what we do to make sure that you walk away with the most from the sale of your home. Or I don't even need to say commission structure. I'll say, when we get together tomorrow at 4 p.m., I'm going to show you in person how we get you every dollar for the sale of your home and how you'll make more money working with Ramey and Associates and our team than you will with anybody else out there. So I never said what I charge commission. I shifted the focus to expense to benefit. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
So that's sales objection handling. So for you, the objection is, Mark, you sound great, but it sounds like, you need a mentor or you need guidance through this process. And I'm really not feeling that comfortable with it. And all I would tell them is, look, most agents, no matter how long they've been in the business, still call their office manager when they don't know something. I'm going to be upfront with you and let you know, because I'm not trying to promise something I can't deliver, right? But what I can tell you is I can sell your home. I know because I've done it, and I've helped so-and-so or whatever the case is, and we had great results because I have the support around me. I have the people that I need to lean on top of, you got a team that's helping you. It's not even just myself. You got my brother who's managed an office, and done over 400 transactions per year, oversaw those. He's got a law degree. He's going to help protect you on the legal side, right? My father has been doing this for 20 plus years, 30 plus years. My mom, same thing as well. All my brothers are in the business, and my sister-in-law is in the business. So you have a full family and a team of support around you, I's dotted, dotting all our I's and our T's crossed. So all I'm telling you is that nobody will work harder for you than I will work. And if you're talking to that expired guy that's pissed off because he went with the top agent and he felt like he was the bottom feeder listing because he was only a $450,000 listing, and this guy does $1 million properties left and right, so he's not getting the attention that he needs, and the house isn't selling, and you can't, or 575, whatever the dollar amount was, right? You can't get it, and they're feeling that. That's your opportunity to come in and say, look, nobody will work harder. So as a new agent, that is your objection handler. I will work harder. What would you rather have? Some old guy who's burned out, who's tired of dealing with people, who's got the track record. Yeah, they've sold 100 homes 20 years ago, right? But they're not the latest and greatest on technology. They don't know social media the way that I know social media. They don't have the connections. I have the buyers that are going to be coming into your price point. Those are my friends, right? Those are the people that I know. You think it's going to be that, 67-year-old person, right? That's looking for a first-time home buyer property, an entry-level property. So all it takes is 1 or 2 major points with conviction, and you got past it. Now you just keep moving, because if you talk too much, you start losing them. You know what I mean? And I'm doing a lot of explaining, and I typically do that. But the more you do that, it sounds like you're trying too hard now to convince them, and they're off. They're gone. So you say it quick, and then you move to the next question, okay? So you just handle it, you acknowledge it, you prove to them whatever you need to. And then let me ask you this. Why are you ultimately trying to sell your home? Why is that important to you? So it's a good question that you hit them with and get them to open up. And then that's how you lead, is through those questions. And now they start looking at you as a leader because you know how to ask the right questions to get them to figure out, what do I need to get done? That's the experience, Mark.
Yep.
Not the track record. I'm telling you, you don't need any past closed sales. If you learn that process of asking questions, answering it, acknowledging it, and moving them on and discovering, getting them to self-discover what they need, and then you promise what it is that they need, they're going to listen to you. You're at least going to get the appointment. You're at least going to get your foot in the door. Now you got to come in correct. And if you got to bring me into that appointment, we'll come in and we'll close it. My very first listing call was from Dad. He had a $700,000 listing in North Oxnard. Emmanuel Phoebe. You know Emmanuel, right?
Yeah.
Emmanuel Phoebe was the one on the phone call. Call comes in. It's a sign call. My dad picks up. Hello? Yeah, I'm calling about your property in Janetwood. He hands me the phone. He's like, here you go. I pick up the phone. I'm like, oh, shit, here we go. You know what I mean? What are we going to do here? Dad's on the side coaching me, right? And he's just like, hey, see if he's got a house to sell. He's looking at $700,000. He's probably got a house to sell. And so as I'm talking to him, so you know, do you have a house to sell to buy this property? Yes, I do. Are you looking to save some money on selling that home? Yeah, that'd be great. Okay. Well, let's set up a time to sit down and talk, and I can show you how we can save you some money if you're going to list and purchase with us, and you know, we can go from there. That sounds good. Well, what works with you? Set the appointment. I set the listing appointment. I go meet him at his office. He had a real heavy accent on the phone. I actually, you know, no offense to anybody, thought he was like a construction worker. I couldn't really tell where his accent was from, but he's like, yeah, come meet me at my office. I'm envisioning when he's explaining, said on South A Street. I'm just thinking like, all right, it's construction. It's going to be like a little construction. I go show up to the place and I see Emmanuel Phoebe, attorney at law. I'm like, oh shit. And then my dad, when we get down and see him, and then as he comes up, you see this big black guy coming walking towards us. And he starts talking. I was like, oh, that's the same guy. You know what I mean? Like it was a French accent that he had. He was from Africa, like real Africa. Trying to think of the country. I can't remember which country it was. Cameroon, maybe? Does that sound right? Cameroon?
Yeah, there's a country with that name.
Yeah, I think it's Cameroon. But he actually he ended up bringing me something from his home country. Anyway, super cool guy. The whole point of the story is I didn't know anything from anything, right? My dad helped me coach. He handed me the lead, helped coach me to set the appointment. I set the appointment. Dad comes in, does the listing agreement, signs it all up, gets him to sign it, and now he says, go to work. It's, you know, now go to work. So now it was up to me. And then Mom helped coach me through the transaction. He could tell I was green. He went with me because I flexed on commission, you know what I mean? Because it was a listing purchase. Guess what? He bought a $670,000 purchase, 2.5%. I got a check for $14,000 when I was 22 years old. But I got half of that because I was a new agent, you know, so I'm seeing 7 come in and I'm like, seeing all those zeros, 22 years old, $7,000. I was like, holy shit. You know what I mean? Like, are you kidding? And all I'm thinking is, that could have been $14,000. You know, it's like 7's a lot, but it could have been, you know, 14. Like, that is crazy. You know, my dad's like, yeah, how many cell phones would you have to sold to get that much? I'm like, a lot of cell phones, you know, but I got the taste. And the listing actually fell out. I never even sold the listing. We had it in escrow. He didn't have enough money. He bought it at the peak of the market before the market crashed. And he didn't even have enough money to sell the home. And I didn't know anything about short sales or any of that at the time. So we have to back out. But because Mom told me to send a notice buyer to perform, we had a way out of the contract. Then I did 5 more transactions with Emmanuel after that transaction. We did 6 deals together. Then he got his real estate license and his broker's license. And, you know, then he ended up working for us down the road. But it's just crazy, bro. You never know when that's going to happen. So these trainings and these conversations, you're going to be able to connect with it. And Saverio, you know, he's direct to the point and a little harsh. And I don't want you to get, you know, no offense to that either on either of you. For you, Mark, don't overthink that, right? Don't let that get in your head. Because when I was listening to it, to be honest, if I started it, it was going to be a lot more positive. than Severio. Nothing against Severio. I respect what he said, and it's all true statements. And if you were talking to Severio on the phone, that's exactly how he would have responded and felt about how you delivered it. You're talking to me, I'm going to be like, all right, I got a guy who's honest. I got a guy who is sincere and is willing to work hard for me. I got a guy that, you know, I may give him a chance. I may give him a crack because that's what I want. I don't want somebody who's going to bullshit me. I don't want somebody who's going to promise me things they can't do. But I do want somebody who's resourceful and can get the job done. So I got enough of that from your talk that's what I would have done. Go ahead.
You know, my first listing that I got, I was door knocking, and this guy called me up. As a matter of fact, I was going to his house, and then he's like, hey, you know, just leave that flyer over here by the door. I'm busy, right? So I just left it, and I said, hey, I'm a realtor, you know, I give my spiel real quick. And he's like, okay, yeah, go. That's how door knocking goes, Mark. So, you know. And so I'm like, all right, I left. And then 2 weeks later, I got this phone call. I went mountain bike riding. I came back to my car, pick up my phone, and I check on my messages. I get this phone call saying, hey, you know, this is Daryl, you know, blah, blah, blah. He came over to my house one of these days, and I want to see if you can come over to my house, and we're thinking about selling. See, we want to interview with you, see if you can help us. I'm like, and that was my first listing. I'm like, is any of my buddies pulling my leg right now with this message? That was my first reaction. I'm like, there's no fucking way that a seller will be calling me and say, hey, come over, you know. And I call him back, and then we talk, and he's like, yeah, I remember you came over, you know, blah, blah. And then I remember the house, like, oh, yes, that's right. And I'm like, yeah, this is a real seller, right? And I showed up to his house, and, you know, dressed up, you know, and stuff, and ready to do my spiel. And then I asked him, I say, why did you call me? You know, and that was my first listing. I said, why did you call me? And he said to me, he's like, because I respect people that work hard. And you were doing it. He's like, you were door knocking and didn't care about other people's attitudes against you. I know that you didn't make it to my door, you know. But he's like, I respect that. And if I can see that you're working hard, I know you're gonna work hard to sell my house.
That's good, man.
You know, and I sat down with him and his wife, and told him, you know, I knew the neighborhood. And so I told him everything about it, price range and all the stuff. And I had both of them asking me questions. And I got to tell you, I was nervous because that was my first listing appointment. And I didn't have anybody with me to coach me or anything. I just like, I got to get this thing done. I need a listing, you know. And, you know, I guess my personality make them feel comfortable, and they make me feel comfortable at the same time. And that's what Brandon was talking at the beginning. You see what level they are, and on the conversation, who are they? Do they like to speak fast? Are they analytic? Are they, you know, so if you kind of go along with them, you kind of fit in the same wave, you know. And they feel comfortable, and you feel comfortable. So that brings a level of comfort for all of us. And we started like cracking jokes and talking and whatever. It felt like I knew them before.
Yeah.
But it was just a personality. I got to see where he was and where she was. And, you know, I started saying jokes, and they were laughing, like, okay, now we're feeling more comfortable. And it was easy. It was actually one of the easiest listings. It was my first listing too. It was like, whoa, this is great, you know. But what it took was confidence that I can do that. I dress up like really nice and everything. I showed up, boom, let's get this thing done. I remember walking towards the door and like, don't fuck it up, Silverio. Take it easy, take it easy. You know.
Cool, man.
But it was great. And then after I saw his house, he introduced me to a bunch of his friends. You know, and he's like, hey, I want you to meet these people of mine, you know, blah, blah, blah. And they're my friends. And he was always like, let's go have coffee, or let's go have a drink. and he's always like, hey, if you guys ever need a good realtor, this guy right here, Silverio, he sold my house. He's a great guy. He's a hard worker, honest. And, he was just putting me on in front of everybody, all his buddies.
That's
And
awesome.
that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
great.
you
Great.
just gotta, gotta
Yeah,
believe in yourself. You gotta believe in yourself that you can do this. Don't it, and by all means, don't let anybody else uh, make you little or whatever. Just because you don't know anything yet, it doesn't mean that you can't get the job done.
Right.
No, it's
You
true.
know, it's those two things are relative. A lot of people, and you got to think about this too. A lot of people like to hire somebody that will put their 100% focus on them instead of hiring a top producer that has no time for them.
Right.
What people are looking for, like, if I'm going to sell my house, I want you to talk to me. I want you to communicate. I want you to have me your priority so you can put my house in the market. You can sell it fast. I don't want to have a top producer to come over here and like, okay, blah, blah, blah. And then they take off and like, I don't hear from them.
Yep.
Why? Because they're too busy.
Right. Now so those are points you want to write down. You want to put, okay, my strengths, my value proposition, right? Creating value for Mark Ramey versus working with a busy top producing team that's got 100 transactions, right? What are the downsides to that? Communication is probably not going to be as strong. Maybe the communication can be great. Maybe they got systems in place, right? Because I've heard some things over there, but they don't know that. They're only going to know really what you're having a conversation with them about. And that's why Tina Hare told me new agents beat her out all the time, because they come ready and they're stronger at that presentation where she thinks she's got it in the bag based on her track record, based on her results, based on her team. So they start getting complacent. They come in thinking they already got it. They come in telling people what to do, not asking them what to do, right? In your personality, I'm telling you right now, more people are going to like you off your personality than anything. It's not about even the words you're saying. So words you say is 7% of communication. Does that make sense? 7% of it is only the words you actually say.
Yeah.
Most of it is your body language. It's your eye contact. It's your confidence, right? It's your tone. That's the 93% of communication is all of that. It's not the words you're actually using. It's how you're saying it. It's what you're saying. So your personality style, amiable, that's more of what I've been classified as, is an amiable personality side.
I would say a talker.
that's somebody who's empathetic, right? It's more like the teachers, the nurses, it's according to Mike Ferry, who everybody think is a driver. He says the best real estate agents are amiable because they're the most caring. That's what people want. That's where Ken Gretsch would always talk about with me and just say, hey, your sincerity of purpose. I've never met anybody more sincere. And people always say you speak from the heart. That's what they want. It's not about what you're saying. It's not even about being accurate. You can mess up. You can say things, but you speak from the heart. And people know that you truly care about them. They're going to listen to you. It's not about this promise that, hey, I've had to sell 100 homes before you can trust me. You can't always trust people that have sold 100 homes. Okay. You see what I'm saying? So trust is big. Integrity is big. Work ethic is big. You got to write down all the things that are strong about you. You don't have to list 50 of them, but it's going to come up. Communication is big. Education is big, right? These are all things you should just be writing down. And we're recording this so you can play it back and check it out. And more importantly, when we play it back, listen to how you delivered the message. So like I said, if you had two of us voting, right? And Silverio, I still, even though he gave a lot of constructive criticism and positive, and that's what you want to hear. You don't want to hear somebody just tell you, oh yeah, you're great, Mark, you're fine, you're great. Yeah, good luck. Try to make calls. You don't want that. You want to have somebody with experience who's going to be honest and tell you what he truly believes is how he would have received that message. And there's other people that would have received it the same way. And there's other people that would have received it my way. I normally, at least in coaching, I'm just sharing it with Silverio because this is how they taught me with coaching, is you always start with what you like about what you heard first. Always, usually it's like compliment. I forget what they call it, but it's basically like praise, 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 then confront. right? Because the confronting's the hardest part. Now, Severio, you know, he hasn't had the same coaching training that I've had directly, you know what I'm saying? So he just went straight to, hey, Mark, I wouldn't enlist with you, you know what I mean? Like,
well, I went the opposite. I started with the
right.
hard part
He
first,
went
and
to
then
confront, and then he started praising. But just in terms of, no, because it's the same thing, because you could right away, you can be like, you can get defensive, or you can pull back and not listen to what he's saying. But if you listen to what he said, there's a lot of truth in what he said. And that's what you want to fine tune. And that's why we want to practice and do these calls, so that you can have that honest feedback, go back, listen. Next time we do it, we're going to hear different, you're going to have a different delivery. And you'll see that you're going to improve every time we talk and do one of these things. That's what you want.
And Mark, one piece of advice too is never take anything personal.
Oh, no.
In this business, if you take it personal, it's a battle that you don't want to get into it, because it's not going to take you anywhere.
Gotta have thick skin.
Yeah. Don't take anything personal, whether it's criticism from me, or from Brandon, or from any other agent, or whatever they say. You know, what you do is you take the good parts of the conversation and use those. But by all means, don't, even with your clients or escrow officers or anybody in the business, there's a lot of negative people in this business, and don't take it personal. It has nothing to do with you. It has to do with their problems, their personalities, and their world. Don't make it yours.
Exactly. Great point. Another book, because you know I like throwing my books out there. It's called 4 Agreements.
Oh, I love that book. I have it.
You do got it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
One of the agreements is not taking anything personal.
Exactly. That's,
and
it's I learned that a long time ago.
That one, so versatile selling, and that one. Let's do 4 Agreements, because I want to get in some books that we're all listening to, so we can start when I bring it up or Severio brings it up. We're going to get in tune quicker.
Yeah, because we know the
part
book.
of how we got to do this. But that's a good one. I want you to do Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, but I know there's a list of them. But the 4 Agreements would be great, because there's some solid ones on there, and it teaches you just really how you were brought up into the world and what society tells you, right?
How to break that.
How to break through that, and how to be true to yourself, and know exactly who it is that you are and what you want, not what society wants for you, not the box that society puts us in, right? Of what's customary, but how to do it. And it's about these agreements. And one of the agreements is with yourself. And when you go against the agreements with yourself, he actually defines that as sin. So there's sin in the religious sense, right? When you do something that you know you're not supposed to be doing. Well, the sin he's defining on here is when you do something against what eternally is who you are. And society sets things that's not exactly eternally who you are. So when you're not doing that, you're living in sin, depression happens, things start happening. That's how you break out of it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Is understanding truly who you are to the core. So, but it's one of them's never take anything personally. And that's when he brought that up. It's like, all right, got to make sure that I mention that book. What else would you like to cover? And it's, you know, obviously we're going to try to do this on a regular basis. That was some pretty heavy stuff in terms of what we got into already out the gate. I mean, kind of, what are your thoughts? What are your feelings from what we've already discussed today?
Yeah, no, it's been good. You know, I definitely appreciate just the feedback. Just getting into it. I think that's just the way I need to get better. It's just the more and more role play I do, and just hearing your guys' stories, I guess, with listings, or hearing just kind of how to be, I don't know if successful is the right word, or just how to dive into it. You know what I mean? Like how to be successful first starting out, and being able to just go from phone call to phone call, and just being able to, you know, just improve each time. If that makes sense. But like, I guess gaining the confidence, you know, I think that's my biggest thing, is just gaining the confidence and knowing how to do the objection handlers. I really like that a lot, just because I'm going to get that, you know, and knowing how to respond to that, I think, is my key right now too. But it's been really good just hearing you guys.
So what is the definition? I'll just ask Severio. what is an objection, Saverio? How would you define an objection?
Objection is a how do you define that? It's to me, it's like not trusting the other person. When you have objections, is when you have you're not confident, and that's why you have your objections. Am I right?
You're in the right train of thought. So it's the clearest definition I heard of an objection is an unanswered question. Okay, that's the way to think of it. So if somebody has an objection is a hesitation of committing to you and moving forward with what you're asking them to do. The reason why they won't commit to you or working with you or setting that appointment with you, whatever you're trying to close, is because they have an unanswered question in their head that you didn't answer all their questions. You didn't give them the confidence, is what Saverio was trying to say. You didn't give them the confidence because they still have doubt in their head. You didn't do a good enough job of asking enough questions to discover what their unanswered questions are. So in its simplest format, an objection is an unanswered question, right? It's a hesitation of why they're not committing. The reason why I get excited when I get an objection, it's tough up front, right? I'm talking about after I have a good 15, 20-minute conversation, I know I got them interested. I know I've created value. I know they're ready to make the next step. But then they hit me with an objection. You know why I get excited then? Usually it actually happens in the listing presentation. Why would I get excited when that happens?
Well, I guess it gives you a chance to, prove yourself even more, or gives you a chance to show them why you're the right fit. Because if they're giving you an objection, then you could say, well, actually, this is a reason why you need to pick me, or this is what I can bring to the table.
Right.
You create value.
You do create value, but you're both right on it. The reason why I get excited on an objection, and it took me a while to figure this out, but basically when I get to that objection, they're ready to commit with me. They're throwing up their last line of defense. It's their last out, their last way of not committing to me right then and there. And usually it's going to be, well, my wife and I need to think about it tonight. It's a great presentation. We don't make decisions on the spot. We need to think about it, but awesome. Everything was great, right? That's the objection. I'm not signing anything. I'm not committing right now. Or it's, what do you charge commission, right? That's the final objection a lot of times. The reason why I get excited, second I answer that question, if I do it the right way, guess what I get next?
Sign it.
I got the signed agreement.
Yeah.
Before anybody makes a difficult decision, anything that's serious, right? Getting married, right? Having a kid, buying a house. You go through, logically, you're going to go through your brain and come up with every reason not to do something. Every single, nope, it's wrong idea, can't do it, I shouldn't do it, shouldn't marry this person, shouldn't do these things, every excuse, every reason out. If I give a great presentation, there's no objections. I hit every single concern, every question, everything that could have possibly ran through that person's mind of why I may not work with you, Mark. You nailed every single one of them. So if I give an amazing presentation, that's the best objection handler. There are no objections because you killed it on the presentation. You asked the right questions, and we haven't even talked about a prequal yet, right? You discovered enough before you ever even got to the actual listing appointment. We're going to teach you how to do that. So there's things that happen in that first call that it's not even about closing, definitely for them to pick you as an agent. It's just about asking the right questions, getting all the information. So when I go in to take the test, which the presentation is the test, I got all the answers. I've asked all the questions. I know what's going on in their head. I know what their motivation is. I know what their next step is. I know what their timing is. I know if it's husband and wife. I know if it's just wife or just husband. I know what next property they want, what they're going to do. I've asked 30 minutes worth of questions of getting all the information I can before I get to that presentation. So, I'm building more on just the objection. I get excited about that objection because I know I'm closing them. And before you make any difficult decision, you're going to have a reason why not to do something. So if I can overcome that, I got it. That's why I get excited about an objection. That's why you want to practice objection handlers. That's why you want to get to that, because it's about staying cool and calm. no matter what people hit me with. And that's one of the things I keep bringing Ken up, because he does it all the time. Like, you think Severio's, trying to confront and, direct and being straight to the point. Kid has no tact sometimes, man, none at all. And he just comes at it. At least Severio still, I can tell he cares while he's being straight up with you. Ken, it's like ice cold, and he's just like, and he does it sometimes just to get under your skin. And it's just like, all right, yeah, well, I feel this. I disagree with that 100%, just to see how I respond. And the whole time he's doing it, I'm like,
who's Ken? Is he the 19-year-old?
No, Ken Gretsch is he's the guy that mentored me over at a Troop originally. And so, but anyways, his response is, he's like, I've never seen anybody as cool as ice. But when he tries to get me and hit me with something hard, I'm like, yep. And I'm just listening, because I'm processing, I'm thinking, I'm not taking it personally, as Severio had mentioned. I'm the student, he's the teacher, right? Yeah. When I get that, I'm grateful he's spending time to share his wisdom and information with me. And even though I may disagree with 50% of some of the things, at least in his tone of how he would talk to me, I was still knew in my head that this guy cares and he's going to teach me a lot. If I cannot be so sensitive and take things personally, there's so much I can learn from this person. And he taught me so much because I had that. Think and Grow Rich, he said to read it. I read it in less than, I don't know how quickly I read it, but I just ate that thing up. Probably in days, less than a week, I had the whole thing read. And he saw that. And then he was like, all right, this dude's legit. So it's things like that. Like, if somebody tells you read a book and it's a legit book, you don't just, oh, well, maybe I'll get to it. Maybe I'll think about it. People are spending their time and their energy, and there's a reason why they're saying to read this book. So if you're committed to this, you dive right into it. You don't think about it, oh, well, can I afford it? Should I get it? Should I not do it? Well, maybe if I get to it when I have time,
Don't analyze it too much.
Bro, it's successful people make decisions. They make mistakes, but they make decisions. They're decisive. They don't hesitate. They don't prepare. They go for it. And they keep learning through experience, through trial and error, and take massive action. I'm just, I'm still watching The Men Who Built America all night. It's all the same thing. They all say the exact same things. They're decisive. They take action. They trust their instincts. They get visions because of their obsession with it. They form mastermind groups, and they go for it. So you want to be decisive. You need to make decisions, commitments. You should come up with a list. I'm going to send it to you. And Severio, go ahead. You got to get out?
Yeah. I got something to do.
All good, brother. Thank you for joining, man.
Thanks, Severio. Yeah.
All right.
All right, brother.
See you guys next time. Let me know when's the next chat.
You're not invited to the next one, bro. But yeah, it's all good. All right, we'll see you.
All right, guys.
For real, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. You guys have a good weekend.
You too.
Okay. Bye.
All right. So the 8 questions, Mark. It's the first one. I want to, and I'm going to email this to you, right? But these are the things that I want you to do for yourself and to figure out. And we may have talked about it, but what are you unwilling to accept in your life any longer? Okay.
Want me to answer?
No, you don't need to answer it right now. But this is something I want you to think about. Take some time and write in your journal. What are you unwilling to accept anymore? Right? Mm-hmm. And this is to avoid complacency. You got to be very clear about, you know what? I'm not going to stress and be paycheck to paycheck. I'm not going to pay rent. I'm going to buy a house, right? I'm not going to stress about how much money I'm spending in groceries. I'm not going to stress about, can I pay the bills? I'm not going to stress for myself personally about student loans. I'm not going to stress about paying taxes. I'm not going to get behind on paying taxes. So you just want to identify 3 things that you are no longer willing to accept. Whatever they are, make them and stay committed to them and keep those in front of you. Next is, what gives your life purpose? So I want you to think of what activities that when you're doing certain things that you know you're living your purpose. Mm-hmm. So identify those things, right? Mm-hmm. Then number 3, and that's a big one, number 2, because when you identify those, you want to make sure you're doing more of that. So for myself, if I'm playing baseball with Mikey, or we're playing catch out there, or I'm pushing him on the swing, I'm living my purpose. So guess what I'm doing more of? Not just because of COVID-19. Why do you think I stepped out of my management position? Why do you think I did the drastic moves that I took? That was major risk, but all for the right reasons, because I listened to my heart, because I knew what gives me purpose. Gives me purpose is the time that I spend with my wife, with our kids, right? Teaching them, working with them, helping them with their problems, helping with their issues. They are the number one most important thing. Now, if I can provide for them and be the father that I need to be for them, huge. Be the husband I need to be for my wife, actually help her cook here and there, not a lot, but I've been helping out more with it. Help her with the children, where before it was like, no, I go to work, you take care of the children. It's not that anymore. And my sleep's completely off right now. Now I'm getting woken up in the middle of the night. I was helping out Mikey more, and now he's just coming into our bed. But the whole point is identify what gives your life purpose. And it's not all family things. For me, it's this, what you and I are doing. And this is family. But the time, what we just did today probably can mean as much or more to me than it can for you. Can you understand that?
Yeah, no, just the fact that, you're mentoring me, is huge for me. This is awesome, because I was telling Ara this morning that it's like the first time that I'm actually taking a step, right? Doing the open houses was great, but doing like the one-on-one or with Severio too, is that I'm bettering myself. And I was trying to tell Jake this morning too, because he was complaining about something he shouldn't have been complaining about. And I'm like, Jake, you know what? Let's talk about just purpose. Let's talk about your future, right? And then I just said, I'm doing this training call to better not only me, but this family. I want us to get a house one day. I want us to have a backyard. I want us to because in the past, if I had an open house, he would get kind of upset because I wasn't there, right? Because he wanted me to be there during those times. But I'm saying, no, Jake, I have to do this to better us. I want us to have the house. I want us to make these memories.
That's awesome. And, that's actually one of the things somebody who I read talks about. And it's including your family. It's including your spouse, your wife, including your kids, and saying, look, it's going to be hard these next 30, 60 days. It's going to be tough. I'm going to be working a lot. And I'm going to do my best to be here for dinner, but I'm going to be out there working. I have my regular job that helps pay the bills and keeps the roof over our head. But if you want to get a house one day, then I got to put in extra time. Then that's a Saturday morning. I got to spend some time and do some training. That's going out and doing an open house. That's reading these books, listening to these audios, right? You can't check out 100%, right? But you got to get them on board. You got to get them to be a part of it. And one way you can do it is rewarding them, not just with the house, because that's a big goal, right? It's going to take time to get to that, but it's doable. It's very doable. And it can happen faster depending on how quickly you start committing to this. And right now it's scary to commit, and to spend any kind of money. You got to save your money and watch it. But doesn't mean that you can't start learning right now. Doesn't mean that we can't start practicing. Doesn't mean that we can't start going for it. And I'm telling you, you know a lot more than you already realize that you know. And you're also going to find out is when you're talking to people on the phone, they know so little most of the time in comparison to what you know already. So there's things that I can help say, and I am much more positive in how I coach because I know how to get people to get results. And that's why even with Severio, the things when you saw kind of the back and forth, me going with him, there's things I wanted you to hear, but there's also things I wanted him to hear, right? Because I'm still improving him on this. I'm still coaching him how to be a better leader, how to be a mentor, right? How to do it, because I know he wants to do it. I know he wants to mentor somebody. He already almost did it, but it would have got sidetracked because we were going to go all in on Ramey and Associates and go ham, right? Before everything hit the fan and, turned into what it did. And I'm glad it did, because I'm glad I joined mom and dad. Otherwise, I'd be screwed right now. If I depended on my hourly job, right, they would have just said, all right, next 3 months, you're not getting paid. That's never happened to me in my life.
Yeah.
But I took control before it took control of me, and that's where people right now are saying, dude, you were genius for doing what you did. And I'm like, genius? That's a pretty strong word. I wouldn't say that. I would just say I paid attention to my heart. I paid attention to my purpose. What is important to me. So good job with that. And one of the things, and I'm sure you'll have a similar sentiment, what I learned through this, all the books I read, everything that I do, I teach the kids in my own little way. So everything exactly what you did, that is my purpose, right? What gives me purpose is learning the principles of success, learning the principles of passion, of fire, of what they love, and what they're put on this earth to be, to help them discover that. You know, we tried to figure it out as kids, and I'm not saying that none of us did or none of us didn't, but we had a lot of different direction or influence based on what's practical, based on making sure staying in that safety box, right? That comfort. You work a job, you pay the bills, you get health insurance, you do these things, right? And you're going to be fine, and you're going to be able to take care of your family, start a family, buy a house, do those things. It's not the case. No. At least not in Southern California, right? You got to do a little bit more than that. And more importantly, you got to find your purpose. Yeah. You got to find, what are you put on this earth to do? Are you put on this earth to work in an office, to work in I don't know if you're in an office cubicle or what your setup is, right? It's good income. Yeah, it's an office. That's cool. So is it you know, is that your purpose? Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. You know, so it's not saying quit the job and go 100% into real estate, but what it's saying is know those things. Be true to yourself. Feed that passion. Feed that fire. Ask yourself questions. Do a self-evaluation. Dad and I had a great call just the other day, and it's cool. We're working together, and it's similar. When I bring Ken Gretsch up all the time, I'm already seeing that Ken always looked at it as Ken up here, me down here, right? He's been a top producer. I'm way down here. I'm this young kid coming up, and he was always talking down. Yeah, well, one day you'll get this. One day you'll get this. And he kept talking. So I knew, guess how I coached him?
The same way?
I let him coach me. That's how I coached him. Yeah. And after all these years, now he says, I've learned so much from you. I knew he was learning from me the whole time. I just had to play the role, right? So I'm just saying, it's just cool when you see it, that you can coach people without even them even knowing that you're coaching them. And all it is we all learn from each other. We all learn different styles, different approaches. And those are things that Dad had shared with me when he just saw Mom and I talking about things. I'm probably not as effective recently, you know, but in the past, you would just see how I would ask questions and proposition, or I don't know, just how I would word questions, and it was effective, you know. And we all learn from each other. So it's not just a one size fit all. You have to always be self-evaluating what works, what's not working. How do I improve? How do I help people at a higher level? And I do feel that's my purpose. So you are helping me fulfill my purpose because you're my brother. You know, I love you. You know, I want you to live your dreams. I know what you're capable of. I know your hesitations. I know you're conservative. I know you've always been safe, right? And that's good. And that's the reason why you're in a really good position right now. So those aren't flaws, those are strengths. But it doesn't mean that we can't get stronger. Doesn't mean that we can't find a way to be more decisive and take action and go for it. Because if you truly want that house for your family, which I know you do, then you got to start. That needs to be the top. That needs to be one of your major goals. Not your purpose in life, but one of your major goals. And you need to come up and figure out your game plan of how you're going to take action to make sure that you make that happen. How much money do I need down, right? How much income do I need to have for how long? What's happening with the market? Are there going to be opportunities that come up that I'm going to be in position to take advantage of it because you got a good job right now, right? So start talking to Jason, start talking to whoever you need to talk to, you know, to find out, okay, what's the game plan start looking like? Then how much money do I need to make? You'll see based off what you're currently making, and you may already be in position to do that. But you may find out, you know what, I need still an extra $50,000 or $75,000 a year in real estate. The cool thing is once you find that out, 50 to 75 is not hard to do in real estate. It's not. It sounds like a lot. It's not that hard.
It does sound like a lot.
It does, but it's not that hard. And I'm telling you, once you start putting in the work, and you could have one person, have one past client right now, that Fernando and Laura, that when the time works out, because it's all on pause right now, that I'll make over $50K on one person.
Dude.
That could be enough for you to be able to buy a house off one person. It's 2 listings and close to $1 million purchase. Yeah. You have people at Amgen that are going to be buying between $800,000 to $900,000. I can guarantee you. You're also going to have people at Amgen that are going to be buying around $550,000 to $650,000. right? And I'm not saying that you're going to go in soliciting everybody. Make friends with everybody. Be interested. This is about becoming an expert interviewer. This is about asking good questions and truly listening. Not because you're trying to manipulate them, not because you're trying to sell them something. Be interested. Make yourself available. Help people out. Always serve others. These are all the principles of success, Mark. And if you can do that on a regular, it's already who you are. I know it because I know who you are, and I know why people like you and why you have the friends that you have, because you care about people, because they like you, because they know that you're a good man. And the more that in your professional environment, people can find the same thing, and it's just taking the time. Interview them. People like to talk. How'd you get to what you're doing? You know, do you like what you're doing? That's awesome. Well, you know, I want to get to know my colleagues and coworkers. If there's ever anything I can do to help you out, never hesitate to call me. Take it on, man. Open that door. You know, take on more work. Take on more, whatever. You know, you're going to see if people are just using you, and then you let that go. But most people are just going to appreciate the fact that you're going to do more than just your job and open yourself up. Or you don't even need to offer for that. Just say, hey, I'm here for you if you ever need to talk, or just whatever, you know, I'm here for you. That's it. Just go in and be interested. So I'm telling you that because all it takes is one Amgen coworker to buy a house. You know who was good at that was Dusty. Dusty had everybody at Securitas buying through him. Guess how many people I represented in the 2 years that I worked there?
One?
I don't think zero. I think zero. I don't think a single person.
Oh, wow.
There may have been somebody after the fact. I think Beth Inslee, I was showing her property at one point. That was it. But, and we still never officially bought anything. I don't think I closed one transaction through that place. Not one. But guess what? I just did my job, kept to myself. I had a few friends there, like a few people that I needed strategically to get my position that I got. That was it. I really wasn't trying to be the popular guy. And I'm not saying for you to be the popular guy. All I'm saying is don't be like how I was, where I was just kind of like a stick up my butt, just went in, did my job, really didn't care. I didn't want to play the politics. I'm out. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to go in, work, and then go home. And it's not that, but I always like, I don't want to mix friendships and relationships. And Dusty was the opposite. He was making friends and relationships everywhere, whether girl relationships or whether he was whatever. He was just getting it, right? Everybody liked Dusty. He was having fun. And it's, you know, at times I'm like, damn, you know, I know I'm a better agent than him. Didn't matter. Wasn't about the track record. It was about the relationships. It was because he cared. It's because he was interested. It's because people liked him. I don't know if anybody really batted an eye when I left there. That's okay. I hated Securitas. I hated it when I first got there making $12 an hour. I made over $100,000 and then now I'm making $12 an hour. What do you think my mindset is coming into that place? It wasn't the most positive, right? Yeah. It was a job, not a career for me. So, and it got better over time and I started creating some relationships over time that helped me with law school. So I was grateful for that. But I'm telling you, as a whole, Dusty killed it on the relationships. If you can do anything like that at Amgen, Mark, that's your start. All you need is one. You get one buyer who wants you to do it. But guess what? You got to have MLS access. You don't have MLS access, they're not going to do anything with you. And then I'm going to help you. When you get your Zillow profile set up, I'm going to put you under my team if that's what you want. And then it'll show less under you when they click on you directly, but they'll see you linked up to Raymond and Associates. That's going to have all 110 plus sales or whatever it is that I got on there. You know, it's like 113 or something like that. You'll see all those closed transactions. You'll see all the listings. So, and then all the reviews, there's like 20 something reviews on there. So they're going to associate you with that, even though it's not directly under you yet. But once you start getting reviews, then it'll pop under. It'll actually pop under the team as well. But we got to get your profile set. People need to look. I know agents been doing this 10 plus years. They don't have a profile set. Okay. You got to have your internet presence set. So, but that's, I probably say the biggest mistake that new agents make in our business is they give way too much weight to the fact that, you know, well, I just don't have the track record yet. Like nobody's going to trust me because that's all in your own head. Most people don't even know how to look stuff up on the internet. So you'll talk to somebody, they'll like you, you'll set the appointment up, you'll show up, they'll not do any research on you. A majority of the time, they don't. I have to bring my stats in and say, hey, because I know you didn't look at anything, And just so you know, I'm good at what I speak, but just so you know that I actually mean what I say, these are my past sales, right? And then I start highlighting numbers and show them certain things. And you're going to take that into your presentation as well. Pull my stats up. They're not going to know. They're just going to see it all there. They're going to see, I don't even know if the name pops up on there, but you'll just see a list of it, and I'll show you what to highlight. And then you're just going to say, this is what our team has done. I have a team that's built around me. We have a transaction coordinator that does all the paperwork, right? It just everybody's in charge of different roles, but I am going to be your point of contact. I will be the one that's communicating with you, and how do you prefer to be communicated to? By phone call, by text, by email? They'll say, well, usually during the day, if it's at work, by text, after hours, by phone. And then say, okay, well, what we do is every Monday between 2 and 4 o'clock, I'll give you a phone call, and I'll give you an update on what's happening, right? I'll talk about how many showings you had, if we have any offers in hand. I'll talk to you about what's happening in the market, what's happening to our competition. So other homes that we're competing against, if those are going into escrow. And we're going to have those talks once a week. So I'm already setting the expectation, so I'm not getting a phone call every single day. I'm future pacing so that once I take that listing, they know they're going to get a call every Monday. As long as I do my job and commit to that, I don't get a call Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. On Monday, after I do my open house, they get a call from me. We had a great open house. This is what happens. So these are the things that I didn't know starting into the business, that you have the advantage of all the coaching and training that I've gone through and I have to do, that I'm able to share this with you. That's what I'm saying, bro. You can master this in 6 months to a year if you go all in. All you need right now is to find your first client. And the way to find that is to, at the beginning, is just setting the appointment. So don't put the pressure that they gotta think that, okay, Mark's the man who I'm gonna work with. All you need is your foot in the door. You just gotta set up a time where they're like, yeah, come check our house out, give us your professional opinion. And then you're like, cool, yeah, I'll do that. And set up what time works for you. Well, Friday after work, at 6:30. Does that work? Great. Set it up. And don't say anything about me or mom and dad or anything else. Just set the appointment up. Once you set it, then give us a call and say, all right, I got an appointment at 6. I don't know what the hell to do, but I know it's this client. This is the address. What do we do now? Then I'll tell you exactly what you need to do. So all you need to focus on is setting that appointment. That's it. And then we'll get your first client. And that could be a buyer or a seller.
Okay.
Not just a seller. A buyer is same thing. They say Friday at 6 or over the weekend at 12 o'clock, then we'll figure it out. And if they say, well, where should we meet? Say, well, whatever's most convenient for you. Would you prefer that we meet at your house? They say, no, let's meet at your office. Say, well, actually, it's my parents' brokerage. We're a virtual office. So if you'd like to meet at a Starbucks or any other type of, whatever, a restaurant, let me know. Well, we can't do restaurant or Starbucks right now. So virtual actually has to be virtual. So that's fine. So even if we had an office, you don't even need to say it. Say, well, actually, because of the stay-at-home order, what we're doing is we're doing Zoom call meetings. And then you set it up. And then once you set that up, I'll hop on there, and then you'll see. We'll just run through it. And then you can introduce and say, this is my brother Brandon. I'm a part of Raymond & Associates. He's actually our, our lead agent, or however you want to say it. You know what I mean? So want to introduce you to him, and we'll have some questions as we go through this. But he's my partner, and just wanted to make an introduction. Yeah, sounds great. Boom, just run right through it. They don't even think twice about it. You can say it in the initial appointment. Hey, my brother Brandon is actually my business partner. Is it okay if he's on the call with us too? You could say that, or just set the appointment, and then I'll tell you what to say before that. And then we'll set up the Zoom call. Yeah. So we can't even do the office meeting, even if we had the office. Right now, it's going to be over this, which is cool because it's easier to set up because it's less pressure. They're in the comfort of their own home.
Yeah. Brandon, so I think I thought of earlier was talking about social media and posting, posting either your listings or your pictures.
Right.
When I tried to do that, it said that Raymond Associates was private. So if I posted, like, let's say I was to share your posts from Raymond Associates, it would only go to our mutual friends instead of sending it to my entire group of friends with Instagram.
That's weird.
Because I'm not sure if the way it's set up is private, but
you know what? Because my account right now is private. I just realized that on Instagram it's private. On my business page for what do you call it, for Facebook, it's public.
Oh, okay.
So if you share on that, that's fine. But for Instagram, it is private. I gotta see. You know what? I may have to create a new account with the Ramey and Associates, or keep the Ramey and Associates, make it public, and then make my own personal one that I keep private, because I don't want all my kids' stuff on the business one. What's up, Jake?
Hi.
How you doing, big guy?
Good.
Good. You know your dad's gonna tear it up in real estate, right? Yeah. You gonna help him out?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, thank you for letting me borrow him during this time, because it's all this that he's doing. He's doing for you and your family. You know that, right? That's cool. Well, when you hear of your soccer buddies or baseball buddies or kids at school talk about that they may be moving soon, make sure you let your dad know.
Again, some
What's up?
again, some business cards.
You should give them some cards. Be like, here you go. Hand these out in class. Like, give this to your mom or your dad.
Yeah, I think you too is freshen up on my Spanish, because the last open house we had a Spanish-speaking family come in,
Yeah.
and I knew a little bit, but I don't know enough to conversate in a sense. You know what I mean? To actually conversate and to know, because they're speaking in Spanish.
Yeah.
But it's been so long where I need to freshen that up too.
Yeah.
You know, I think that could. I don't know. That's something I was thinking about too.
Yeah. It's obviously, if you're fluent in it, it'd be good. It creates more opportunity for you. I've had Spanish speaking clients that predominantly spoke Spanish. They actually prefer white agents. Sometimes some Spanish speaking clients, as long as they can understand enough English. So
Oh.
it's not, there's plenty of business out there. You're going to do plenty of deals. If you want to do it just to have, something that you want to study and just keep practicing, that's cool. You should come up with a calendar. That was one of the things I wanted to talk about. So just trying to handle this like a coaching session, but try to figure out your calendar. Doing this once a week is good, but you got to practice more frequently. We got to do it. I mean, you should be practicing at least minimum, probably 3 times a week, minimum. This should be more of a coaching session where we're talking about what's happening. What issues are you having with your prospecting? What do you currently have in your business, right? And we got to get to the business first. But so at first, it's all going to be about prospecting. What are you doing to prospect? Well, I did this social media thing. I did this. I did that. That's great. More of it is, how many conversations did you have? Who did you talk to? How are you generating those conversations? So right now, you could already, and these are the things. So anytime we do a meeting, we're going to go over some stuff. We're going to take a pulse of what's happening with you, right? So what are you doing right now? Then we're going to figure out, okay, what are the challenges? And figure out how we're going to overcome those challenges. Then we're going to do a call to action. So when we wrap everything up, what action are you going to take moving forward? So what do you think is important for you as next steps to make sure that you start getting closer to your goals? Well, number one, I got to know what your goals is. The only goal that I know about is you want to buy a house. So what actions are you going to take to start doing that, right? So that'd be big. But what I should have is your top 5 goals. So you should come up with 5 goals. They could be personal goals. They could be financial goals. They can be health related goals, right? That's still personal. Could be relationship. And I didn't go through all the 8, and I'm gonna email this to you. I just got to find it. So I may have to scan it and send it to you, but I just did the questions.
Maybe like a picture of it.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, that way I'll at least have it.
Yeah. And then just so that you can answer, because this is, if we do a call to action, number one, I want you to do this, right? Fill out these 8 questions. So, and if you don't want to share it with me, that's fine. If you do want to share it with me, it'll help me be able to hold you accountable if I know exactly what it is you're trying to accomplish. So it's whatever you're comfortable. What's that?
Yeah, and with sharing, I don't mind.
Okay. And it doesn't have to be for, Severio. It could just be for you and I, you know what I mean? And I like that he wants to be involved right now. I like that he's trying to get better for himself. So were you okay with him being on the call, or?
Oh, yeah. Okay. No, it was good having like a third person or just another, set of feedback from an outside source. But man, it would be good to get like mom and dad or Matt, Brittany. They should all be on here. I don't see why not, but.
Well, I sent it to them all, and it's, the nice thing, the good thing, the challenge when you have too many people. Number one, I agree. I want them to be a part of this, right? I want us to form our own thing with Veteran Home Services, where we're doing ongoing coaching training, staying connected, coming up with a plan and executing on the plan, discovering where the issues are at and what we got to do. I agree that that needs to happen. I also think that it's nice when you and I can just have a one-on-one, because even with Severio, and I enjoyed him being on here, but even with him there, I can be a lot more effective and efficient with the time where I have to give him time to speak. So if I bring him on and I want his advice or want him to give his input, I can't exclude him. You know what I'm saying? I can, but he's not going to want to hop on again in the future if I'm just shutting him down. All right, dude, zip it. Let me do all the talking. You know what I'm saying? Or ask the questions or whatever. But he brought up some good points that I wouldn't have brought up. He brought up some good perspective that I wouldn't have brought up. So there's definitely value there with it, as well as I like the mastermind group and us coming together. But I also like you and me having a one-on-one, because we can pile through this and make the most out of the time with it. And you're going to see how I coach, how I train, and it's good for both of us. So there's pros and cons to both. So we'll just figure it out. And then as we grow, it's okay if mom and dad don't get on. It's okay if Matt and Brittany don't get on. I want them to. I want us to do group training and session, but you're committing to this. So I'm committed to you. If you're committed to it and you show up and you make the time and you're taking notes and I see you're taking action, I'll keep coaching you. That's always my promise with anybody that does this, that I'll do what I can to make my schedule work. Right now, I got more availability than I've ever had. So these are the things that keep me sharp. These are the things that keep me just crushing in terms of staying massive focus, having to coach and train. I need to stay sharp on what I'm learning, right? And so that I can always deliver you the most relevant for whatever you're going through in your life, so that it applies to what it is that you're doing, not just to talk to hear myself talk. But you just already hit on so many different things in this conversation that it's like, how do I already know what to say? How do I already, you know what I mean? Like literally everything you brought up, it's like, well, there, you got this book, you got to do this, you got to do here, you got to, that doesn't happen overnight. That takes years of reading, practicing, training, coaching, being coached, being trained, you know, going through that, listening to a call, do this. Okay. We got it in speakerphone. I'm not contributing. I'm just listening, taking notes, typing it up, recording, typing, recording myself. It's all of that over time to get to where it's like, all right, what do we got, Mark? Let's go. You know what I mean? Boom. Let's run through it. So that's what it takes. A massive action. Not me being worried. Do I know enough? I know enough, you know, and I know that I already know that everything you have to be successful is already in you. It's not out there. It's not in a book. It's not anywhere else. The book may help you become more aware of it, raise your level of awareness. When you talk about confidence, it's about being confident in yourself. It's about knowing what's true to you. It's about knowing what it is that you want. It's about believing in what you're saying, right? And I hear that. And I thought you killed it on that first role play for your first role play. But I didn't want to start with that. I wanted to hear what Severio had to say. I didn't want to influence what he was going to say. And he brought some good nuggets for you that could give you more growth than just me telling you, hey, you killed it. You sounded awesome and much more clear, much more articulate than I've ever heard Severio sound. But Severio does have more confidence and conviction in what he says. But that's also where he hears, yeah, you're a BSer, you're a bullshitter, because he will make those kind of promises and people aren't sure if he's just bullshitting or not. With you, I can tell what you said. I believed every single word that you said, every word. And to me, that carries a lot more weight than just somebody saying, yeah, I'll get it done. Yeah, I can do it. 30 days, no problem, right? I know I can do it, but I know a majority of other people can't promise that. And then when they ask, they're just like, well, how can you guarantee? It said, because if you follow my lead, I guarantee we'll get it done in 30 days. If you don't follow my lead, I can't guarantee that we'll get it done in 30 days. So that's the caveat. And that's how I flip it on them. So will you price this home to sell? Yes, I will. Well, you said 575. I'm showing all the comps at 550. We're in a softer market. We got to be at 535. Are you willing to follow my lead right now listed at 535? No, that's too low. Well, then I can't guarantee that we're going to sell it in 30 days. If you follow my lead at 535, it'll be sold. Well, I can't just give it away. Would you rather give it away at 499? Well, that's what's going to happen if you keep it at 575, right? These are the conversations that you have to believe in and have and be able to speak about. So where they're like, all right, 535, let's do it. It better sell in 30 days. Well, we'll only know unless we do it, and then we'll see how the market responds to it. And then I'll do my job to negotiate the best terms for you once those offers start coming in. or right now we got nothing, and it's been on the market for 15 days. So do you want to continue down this path and hope somebody just stumbles and writes a full price offer, or writes a five, what you're likely to see with us listed at 555 is a 535 anyway. So how do you want it? Do you want it at where one person comes in at 535 may not be your best offer, maybe an FHA buyer who possibly can't even get the loan done right now, that may lose their job? Or would you rather listen to my advice, drop it to 535? Now it looks like a great opportunity, and guess what happens? Now we got 5 offers. Now we got all cash, $200,000 down, conventional, VA offer, and the FHA buyer that was going to be the only one writing an offer because everybody else knew your property was overpriced. Which scenario would you rather have?
Oh, definitely the second scenario.
Right. Do you see how to do that though? Do you see how to? We are artists with our words. We have to paint a picture. You got to create a vision. You got to cast a vision for them to see it, to follow your lead. Yeah. That's the art of what it is that we do. That's the art of selling. That's the art of communication, right? You have to lead. You are a leader. It's about becoming an expert communicator, about listening. It's about leading. It's about believing. You have to grow as a leader. The stronger you grow as a leader, not only is it great for your family, for your relationship, for all, it's not about you being the boss. Being a good leader sometimes is knowing when to let somebody else lead. It's to know when, hey, you're good. Yeah, let's go do it. That makes a lot of sense. Let's do that. It's not about fighting every battle. It's about knowing, having a vision, recasting that vision, reselling that vision, learning how to be an expert communicator by being a great listener, by asking great questions, right? That's what a leader is. Leadership is about earning the right for people to want to follow you. That's level 2. Level 1 is I'm the man of the house. It's my way, the highway, right? Number 2 is earning the right. How do you earn the right? You get permission. How do you get permission? You care about other people. You get to know about them. You get to know what their goals are. You get to know what it is that they want in life, right? That's what these questions are. This is how I'm going to earn the right to lead you, right? Is by getting to know what's important to you, Mark. What is it that you really want? Now, you keep telling me you want a house. Let me see how committed you are to that. What are you willing to do? How much rejection are you willing to take to get that house? Who would you rather, I'm going to get emotional talking about it. Who would you rather say no to? Would you rather tell your kids that they can't ever have the house they want? Or that person that you'll never speak to ever again that's just going to say, what the hell are you knocking on my door for? What the hell are you calling me for, right? Who would you rather deal with that rejection from? Who would you rather disappoint? That stranger or your own son?
Well, the stranger.
Exactly. So the sooner that clicks, you lose all fear of rejection. You lose all fear. You know exactly how much rejection am I willing to take before I find that right person, because I know that there's 99 no's before I get that yes. So at 98, I'm getting excited, and I thank them as they slam the door. What are you smiling? What are you thanking me for? Because you're number 98. I know I only got 2 more, and I'm going to get a listing, right? So thank you. Have a great day, and go to the next one, right? It's all about your mindset and your perspective of how you deal with pain, how you deal with rejection. And the more that you can understand that, and the more you can get past that and stop caring about what other people think, stop treating others how you think they want to be treated, because that's how you want to be treated. Like, I don't like it when somebody door knocks, so I'm not going to door knock. I don't like it when they're going to solicit a sales call, so I'm not going to solicit a sales call. Well, guess what? You're not going to do anything, because you're going to treat everybody how you want to be treated. It's not about that. It's about executing. It's about finding out how much pain are you willing to deal with. What are you willing to do to make sure you get what you want? And that's the one thing that mom just talked. She's just like, Brandon, like, you are persistent. Like, whatever it is that you want, you keep going. You are relentless. I said, thank you, right? Or if somebody tells me you got a one-track mind, like you can't do 2 things at once. I love how Napoleon Hill says, he says, thank you. Because people who are all over the place don't get anything done.
Yeah.
You got to stay focused on what it is you want. You want a house? You obsess over it. You look at properties. You start seeing it. You start walking inside the properties, which we can't do right now. Start watching them online. You print them out. You post it on the wall. So you see it every single day, and it burns into your head. So you can visualize what each bedroom is going to look like. You can visualize what the living room looks like, what the kitchen looks like, what that backyard looks like. You ingrain it into your head until you are obsessed with it, and you will figure out a way. You'll find the answer. And you're probably already 90% of the way there, Mark. You're already probably 90% of the way there, but you're focused on debt. You're focused on, well, things aren't moving enough. Well, how am I going to sell real estate right now? Nobody can do things. No, 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 no. Every reason why I can't do it. Well, it's not the best time to buy. Well, it's this, and these are the things that Dad literally was just sharing with me, not about you, about why you want to be good at selling homes. You got to realize everybody's coming up with every reason of why they've never bought a home to this day. So when he starts his home buyer workshop, he starts off with, okay, how many people have bought a home before? And usually it's one or two that raise their hand, right? Most people haven't. Now, my next question, you don't have to answer it, but why haven't you bought a home yet? So you don't need to tell me, but you need to think about that. Why haven't you bought a home yet, right? And what he's trying to get people to figure out is, what are all the reasons that they have told themselves of why they can't buy a home?
Yeah.
Well, I don't have enough money down. My job's not strong enough. What's going to happen with the market? Am I buying it at the peak? Is it going to crash? And it comes down to two things: utility and payment. Payment is your monthly payment. Can you afford it? Are you going to be okay with the payment? You buy when you can handle the payment, period, right? You can handle the payment. You know what you're paying rent right now. You know what you paid rent for how many years. So you can handle that payment. Could you handle a little bit more? Maybe you could, maybe you can't, right? Maybe you're already at your max. Maybe you're not at your max right now. So that's what you have to figure out. What payment can I handle? Then utility. Can you get a 1-bedroom house right now with your current circumstances?
No, there's no way.
Right. It's not functional. Doesn't fit. So what do you need?
At least a 3.
At least a 3. But what would you like?
What do you mean, like bedrooms or
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 bedrooms, or shoot, 4 bedrooms if I could. 4
So you
bedrooms,
would
2 baths.
you like 4 bedrooms, 2 bath, but minimum 3 bedrooms, right? Keep going. So what does the house look like?
Man, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath. I say 2 stories, backyard. Big backyard. Yeah, just updated inside, updated kitchen. Want the office, but yeah, just the main thing is a backyard. I want the kids to have a backyard to play, so we can get a dog.
That's
My biggest thing right now when we're talking about goals is to get a dog. I want Jake and Soph to grow up having a dog.
Uh-huh.
That's the toughest thing, is the fact that we can't get them a dog right now because where we live, right? And I know
Are there no dogs allowed in those apartments, or?
no, you can. It's just utility. We're talking about utility. It's
Right.
it wouldn't make sense to me with where we live.
Right.
So the motivation for me is getting that for them, getting that for me, coming home to an actual house instead of paying rent at an apartment.
Uh-huh.
And what's been great is the fact that, we have been paying down the debt, got the job at Amgen, but it's still not enough to get us to that next level.
Do you know?
No, see, that's where I need to talk to Jason. It just, I just know our debt right now for Ara and myself, and we've both been making steps in the right direction to not accumulate more debt, especially with the credit cards and paying down student loans and just being smarter, I guess.
Did he tell you that you have too much debt, or are you just assuming?
Well, this was a few years ago. So,
Yeah.
Last time we talked was probably about 2 years ago, 2, maybe 3.
Uh-huh.
And this is back when, making less money, and I think we're both making less money, but we both had more debt at that time though.
So you have less debt and more money right now.
Yeah.
Make the call. Stop trying to wipe out all your debt. Make the call. It's debt to income ratio, and it's not total debt. It's your monthly debt. So it's whatever the monthly payment is. If it was total debt, I'd be screwed because of my total student loans. It's not about what my total is. It's about what am I obligated every month to pay, right? That's how you figure out your debt to income ratio. So as long as your income is high enough in comparison to your debt, your ratio is better. So your debt went down, your income went up. So you have a better debt to income. You qualify for more. So find out, call them up. Just call them up and chat. You know what I mean? And that should be that. I mean, even later today, give them a call. See if you can get a hold of them. You got nothing to lose. Talk to them. If he runs your credit, great. Have him run the credit. Look at everything. And then if you do need to knock some debt out, he's going to tell you how to do it and which ones to do first and at what point. It's not likely you're going to buy a house tomorrow, Mark. But right now it's time to prepare, because if this market shifts, these prices come down, guess who's coming up? The ones that are prepared, the ones who got all their ducks in a row, right? Yeah. So if you do need to knock some debt out, personally, I wouldn't be spending any money on knocking debt down. I just listened to a Dave Ramsey podcast show, and he was just like, right now it's about stacking money. And you just stack it, keep it cash, keep it cash, keep it cash. After all this blows over, pay your debt off, do what you need to do, but keep that cash reserve in case you need it, right? Mm. In case something happens where they're like, hey, Mark, we love you, you're great, but guess what, 30 days, we just need to furlough you or whatever, right? And that comes up. And if it does, and you spend all your money paying all your debt down, what good does that do? Now just max those cards out again? No. Keep the cash. Keep the cash stacked up. And then if things go back to normal, now pay it all off. Do what you got to do and buy your house and do what needs to happen. But start planning now. Start stacking that cash now. Okay? Save your cash now. Limit your spending as much as you can. Cut back as much as you can cut back. Still be sane, right? Still have, we're stuck at home. So if you need cable, TV, whatever you need, but make unnecessary, the unnecessary stuff, cut those things out and save your money as much as you can. But it's not about just paying debt off. So that's good. I started talking too quickly though. You said, get a dog, get a home. What else is important to you?
To have vacations, to be able to afford a trip, because to take the kids on a trip somewhere, to be able to take a week, 2 weeks off and not worry about work or not worry about the cost of it, just to have more leisure time. Because right now it's all about, 40 hours a week and then nighttime, have a few hours, but there's no time to just really enjoy going somewhere, I think, that'd be huge. Trying to think what else. Yeah, the main thing, because with me, it's just being just simple, it doesn't take a lot for me just to be happy. So I'm thinking more about the bigger picture stuff. Man, it'd be awesome to do let's say a baseball game, right? You go to a Dodger game, and instead of buying the $20 tickets, I want to sit right behind home plate. This is, I don't know, it's kind of silly, but just like that mindset though, you know what I mean? To be able to, I can't afford these just because I don't have to worry about, is this too expensive? Kind of like with the trip, just that mindset where I'm not worrying about groceries. Or I'm not worrying, like you were saying, I'm not worried about, can we afford to get takeout tonight? Or can we afford to buy this or buy that? And I've gotten better too. That's the thing. Where I'm not thinking so much, I'm not getting hard on Aura about, we shouldn't buy that or we shouldn't buy this. Just being a little more flexible and knowing that the debt will be there and I don't have to pay it off tomorrow.
Right.
I think that's a big thing with me too, is because before I always had to say, no, I want this debt paid off now. Right. But now I'm making lesser payments towards the debt and knowing that it's going to be there. It's not going to go away. And how can I just be happier in the sense that I'm not so obsessed on it, because before I would obsess on the debt and okay, well, this month we only have this much money for groceries. And if we go over that amount, then we're in trouble, and getting away from that mindset.
So what another good trait of leadership is helping people focus on the right things, right? And one of the best things that I heard, and this is what I'm trying to help with right now, is focus on making more money as opposed to focused on the debt side, the expense side, right? You got to shift that. You have to shift on growth as opposed to trying to cut down. And you can't be a slave to the debt. And I fall in the same problem a lot of times because I'm so tired of my student loans. I'm so tired of the amount of money that I'm paying towards it. tired of how hard I am working and never really seeing it put a dent in anything. So the fact that I was able to get a forbearance for 12 months on my student loans is huge, bro. Huge, huge. And it sucks. I mean, I still got to pay it eventually, but it's still, for me, just gives me a breather for 12 months. Finally, I've been paying it since I got out of law school. That was in 2013. We're in 2020. That's 7 years, dude. And lately, over $1,000 a month. And most recently, 1,800 a month, just towards that, and barely putting a dent in it. If anything, I'm seeing it grow, in terms of the amount of money I owe. And it's like, this is insane. It is so insane in terms of how it's set up, but it is what it is, man. It's not about making excuses, but have you seen me slow down my life? Have you seen me? No, I'm focused on growth, not focused on my expense. I'll go crazy if I'm focused on my expense. I knew what I was doing when I got into it, right? But to be honest, if I would have became a lawyer, I can't say that it would have been that much better any sooner for any of my classmates. I don't know if any of them are in the position that they did all the right things after law school, got the right firm, got paid so much money. Now they're partners and they're just killing it and paying everything off. I don't know. I mean, even when I talked to George Creekes, and he's a pretty successful attorney that I know. Yeah. And what he regrets is he didn't buy more real estate earlier on. That's what he regrets. He made good money, had heart attacks, had all the stress, all this stuff, and they lived a pretty good lifestyle, but he knows he didn't create the wealth. Well, guess what we're trying to do? We're trying to create that wealth. So you just need to make enough money to be able to afford your lifestyle, afford your house payment, right? Afford what you need to do, but you got to create wealth. That's the next step. You know what I mean? So, but to start with, we got to start with you getting your first place on your own. I mean, you already have the one with Matt and Brittany, which is cool. You know what I mean? Matt, Brittany, and myself, at least we have something over there on that side. Yeah. And it came up not too long ago, but where I think Matt or Brittany, I believe it was Matt, like, would you be okay with us refinancing and put in their name? I'm like, absolutely, get it out of my name. Like, put it in your own name. You know what I mean? Like, I want it off of my name, off of my credit if possible, but they got to be in position to be able to do it. They got to make sure their credit's where it needs to be. So I don't believe they're in that position yet. And obviously it's got to be something that we all talk about and we can have it formalized. So it's very clear in terms of ownership interest, because it's in my name and I know you trust me and I know they trust me in terms of it being divvied up the way it's supposed to. So we'll have it formalized, but at the same time, it's about helping each other all get better. You know what I mean? It's about helping each other try to figure things out. So, I mean, if they were able to refinance it and pull money out and pay us out, that would be a discussion that we'd all have to talk about. I don't think their mortgage payment is low because of how we got it set up through the loan model a while ago. So it's very affordable, you know what I mean, for that 3-bedroom.
Oh, definitely.
They pull money out, then their payment's going to go up. And they could probably afford it right now, but just because you can do it now doesn't mean you can do it 6 months from now or a year from now based on how things change. So,
what would that mean for us though? Like, would we have, like, with the ownership, would we get our name on there too? Or, I guess, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, of course we trust each other, but if they're going to refi it, I guess what's the next steps for me or for you or,
yeah, we'd probably have a trust, some type of living trust that we form that is very clear in terms of the ownership interest of it, and then have them refi it after that. The thing where you got to be careful if you put your name on it is that's going to affect your debt to income ratios potentially on your next property that you buy. So the downside to me is if I were charging them rent or making any kind of rent off of it, I'd have to claim all that as income. It just starts getting interesting. So the biggest benefit really is the tax write-off. And I wasn't even getting the tax write-off for a few years with my old CPA. So now with the new corporate, I should be getting my write-off at least on it, or at least depreciation from the property. So there's a tax advantage for it being in my name right now, but that's it. More than anything, it's a liability. And I'm just like, all right, you guys just keep making your payments, because it got a little rough before in the past. And it's like, now ultimately it's going to hit my credit. Now it's on me. So that's what I'm saying. If they're in position where they can take it and put it in their names, then I'm all for that. You know, get it out. You guys get the write-off, do what you got to do. I don't need that associated with my name anymore. Obviously I want to make sure we get our cuts, you know what I mean, as things go when we go to sell the place. But I don't see them wanting to sell it anytime soon from every discussion and everything we had. And to be honest, like, maybe a bad decision, because we'll see what happens with the real estate market coming up. And if we would have sold it before, we could have cashed out at least 525-ish, somewhere there, and would have been pretty set, you know what I mean, in terms of walking away. So if they need to ride out another one, just gotta hope they're in position. But, you know, with Brittany picking up on the real estate side, I hope Matt starts picking up a little bit more with it. I'm not exactly sure. Like, I heard he doesn't have his MLS, I don't know, like legit dues and all that paid. It's like, what are you guys waiting for? They've already had a few closings, and you know, I don't know. I'm not going to get into that, but everybody's just got to get on their game, dude. If you're going to do it, commit to this. If we're going to spend time and do this, you know, start committing to it. And I'm not saying to spend all that money right now. You may need, and I don't think it's $2,000 either. You know what I mean? In terms of dues and things like that. I would slow it down until it gets to where you can start showing property. But start putting that in your budget to start moving forward with it. Because once you meet somebody, you got to have your stuff together. You can try to rush it. I mean, you can turn it on pretty quickly. At least you were in the past when people were working. Within 24 hours, you can pretty much get your MLS access and do all that. So it shouldn't take too long if you need to process everything. But just be ready for it. I would set some money aside, you know, for it. But
Yeah,
like I
that's
said,
what I'm doing.
save as much as you can, you know?
Yeah, no, I've been doing that. And then, man, so yeah, I've been putting money aside. The thing that I need to focus on too is, so the tooth that got knocked out, I don't know if you could see it, but so the dentist said maybe 4 or 5 months ago that they need to replace it.
Okay.
Right. So I got to go see a, I think orthodontist or periodontist, where they have to replace the tooth or take the tooth out and then put in a implant, something like that. I know it's gonna be a couple thousand, but if I need to, you know, put that on a credit card or however I need to pay for that, start saving for that too. I know that's gonna be in the future, because I know right now we can't even see a dentist. But he was saying that this needs to come out because.
Well, is there any? It is infected.
Yeah, man. So the tooth, it's like less root and like more bone or something. So like if I bite on something the wrong way, it could just pop out. Or he just said it's getting infected to the point where it needs to come out like ASAP kind of thing. And he said this like 5 months ago before the quarantine.
And I'll just be careful with dentists, because I've heard it more and more lately that it's almost like dealing with a mechanic, dude. They're always trying to upsell. They're always trying to get paid. And it's usually a big thing. So you may want to get a second opinion from somebody if there's another dentist. Do you, and you're sure your health insurance doesn't cover it?
They'll cover a portion. But yeah, with everything going on right now, I can't even call. They're closed right now, and the periodontist is closed. So it's kind of just on hold until I don't even know when.
Yeah.
But
it's definitely an expense you want to be prepared for. And those, again, these are more reasons why you got to get your real estate game going, Mark. Because once you can start closing some transactions and have that, it'll just take pressure off. And it's like, damn, it sucks, but at least I got the money to do it. Let's knock it out. You know what I mean? And that's what happens. So it sucks. Let's pay it.
Yeah.
Do what we got to do. But you can do it when you're pulling in some good sized commissions, you know, and getting those checks to come in. So, it's tough though. I mean, it's doable, but just more than anything, I want to help shift your mindset to getting to where you're taking action now. Yeah. Where you start actually even getting on the phone and start making calls. And at a worst case scenario, if you need to do it, you put it in my name or you set it up for me. I'll set it up. I'll close it. I'll do it. And then once you get all your license stuff, we'll switch it back over to you. Okay. So just legally, you can put it all under me. You got a license. You can legitimately collect a referral if you needed to. So start making calls. I'll tell you how to do the Sphere calls. And that's what I want you to do and say, look, it's on hold right now. But that 2-bedroom, 2-bath property I told you about, that's your excuse to start calling people. And just say it's in Thousand Oaks. It's in a prime location. It's at $540,000. It's going to be, it's like $335, I think, HOA. But there's nothing under $550 right now. Nothing. for that. And they're like, well, I need a 3-bedroom. Well, tell me what it is that you're looking for. When are you thinking about buying? There you go. Now you opened up your conversation. Now you got a potential prospect right there because you called them and talked about a property. Yeah, it may not fit them. That's not the point. The point is you're calling people. You're asking them, do you know anybody that may be interested in this property? And then by them thinking about it, it's like, actually, we're looking right now. Boom, there you go. Opened up in the conversation. Now you got a business call. Now you start asking questions. Okay, well, you've just been looking online. Well, that's great. We'll work at your pace, right? You know, there's not a whole lot we can do right now anyways in terms of showing property. Yeah, how's that impacting the market? Is it going to come down? What's going to happen? Say, well, you know what? You know, nobody really knows yet, but it is definitely shifting. It was white hot before this all hit. And now, you know, now there's opportunities, but, you know, sometimes you got to write on it without even seeing inside it. So it's just based off photos or like virtual tours. They're like, wow, that's crazy. How can people do that? It's like, well, some people want a really good deal. And if you're willing to do that, you may be able to get a really good deal. You know, what are you looking for exactly? Well, you know, we really want this. We want to do it right. It's our first, you know, never purchased before. Say, well, let's put it this way. We teach a home buyer workshop. We're actually going to do an online one coming up in the next couple of weeks. This is legit. So you can call for 2 reasons. Call 1 to talk about this property that they can't even get inside yet. But I'm going to do a virtual tour, not this weekend. I think it's next weekend, which is an Easter weekend. So I don't know how that's going to work out. Yeah, I just realized that. So next weekend, I'm supposed to do the virtual tour on it. Go in there, take 30 minutes, get the virtual tour. About a week after that, it'll be ready. And then we can send them the virtual tour where they can just walk through the house on the virtual tour, right? So, so you can call for those 2 reasons. Say upcoming listing and that. I got other listings coming up too, and I'll give you a list of them so that you can have 3 or 4 different places that you can talk about. So say we actually got a few different upcoming listings, 2 in Thousand Oaks, 1 potentially in Oxnard, right? And 1 in Camarillo. It's actually the neighbor of our colony home. 5, it'll probably be about 500,000, 5 to 510, but they got tenants in it right now. So now it may be 60 to 90 days out, where before they were ready to list it right away. But no HOAs, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1058 square feet with a little bit of a yard at around 500,000, you know, ballpark, with tenants that are in it right now. So again, not that you want to live in Prairie View or, you know, a couple doors down from Matt and Brittany, but if you were ready to go, you would know about a property before it ever hit the market. I'm just using it as an example. Now, if the prices come down, you may be able to get a better property at that price point and find out that you can handle that payment. So the whole point is get ready. And the way I'm sharing it with you, you share the same thing with other people. It's not about the fact that you go out and can see a property and write an offer today. It's about preparing. Let us help you prepare. Is that something you'd be interested in? Yes, it would be. Would you like me to keep you up to date on what's happening in the market? Check in with you in about a month from now and let you know what's happening. Yeah, that'd be great. Wonderful. Let's do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's all your call is, bro. And more of it's going to be catching up first before you get into that. But we'll practice it a few times, and then I want you to get to where you're making a few of those calls. Should be doing them every day, but getting to where you at least do a few of those calls every week and get to having a few conversations. If you can have at least 1 good conversation every day, you'll be fine. Sometimes you got to make 4 or 5 calls before you can have 1 good conversation. You got to start stacking these conversations up. And if you don't have those conversations, nothing's going to happen. You're not going to find anything. We're in direct sales. You got to find motivated buyers and sellers. Biggest challenge in our business, but you got to find them. How are you going to find them?
You got to call. Is this with your sphere or is this with the leads?
Both. I got leads too, but your spheres are actually going to be easier call than your
buddy
lead calls.
Yeah. Hey, Mikey.
Yeah.
How you doing? You doing good? You watching TV? Want to see Jake? Jake's right here. And we should do another family call if you can. I don't know what you guys are up to later.
Yeah, we can try it later. We were going to try last night. We actually went to bed pretty early last night. Then I fell asleep earlier, then woke up at 12. I was up to like 3.
Oh, yeah.
That text out. I was like,
oh, man.
Yeah, so I'm still a little off right now. And then I still woke up at like 7. I was like, all right, whatever. Yep. So just real quick on the last questions. What is important about my health? Before that, what does it look like what does my life look like when it's on track? So how would you explain that? So when you know things are on track, what does it look like? So describe that vision of what it looks like. What does your health look like? Spirituality, economically, family relationships look like when it's on track? And I'm going to send you these questions.
Oh, okay.
What is important about my health is number 4. Number 5 is what is important about money. Number 6 is what type of relationship do you want with God? And who do I have to be in that relationship? Number 7 is what type of intimate relationship do I want? And who do I have to be? What type of relationship do I want with my children? And what type of father do I have to be? So what a lot of this becomes, and some of the things that you'll see when you do this, is a lot of the challenges and frustrations that we have personally, especially as just men, as fathers, as husbands. We always think it's other people. We think it's our spouse. We think it's our kids. We think it's work. We think it's challenges. Well, we find out that once we start doing the self-evaluation of us, start fixing our own issues, our own challenges, our own problems, and we start taking responsibility for it and just being real with ourselves, guess what happens?
Start getting better.
Everything gets better.
Yeah.
Everything gets better. The relationships get better. All of a sudden now, the issues aren't as big of issues as they used to be. You have more patience. You understand more because you're working on yourself, right?
Yeah.
The problem isn't outward, it's inward, always. And so when we become the light we need to become, other people, it helps them and they start wanting to work on their light, right? And it's all positive, it's all love. And but it starts internally with us first. So that's why this is key. And that's why the questions are, what type of relationship do I want with God? And who do I have to be in that relationship, right? What do I need to do? Who do I need to be? Do I need to read the Bible more? Do I need to pray more? Do I need to, start taking actions that back up what I'm saying, right? Who do I need to become? Who do I need to serve? What does God want me to do? What is my purpose, right? Am I living my purpose, or am I just going through the motions? Don't go through the motions. Don't just settle. Don't just be comfortable with where you're at. You have to make an impact. You're put on this earth for a reason. And you're supposed to become what you're supposed to become. But you got to search for it. And you got to figure out what is that fire, that passion, and feed that fire and feed that passion. And don't be afraid and trust God and always do what's right. And as long as you're in alignment with God's purpose, God blesses you. You will have that home. You will have those things. Even when we talk about the property with Matt and Brittany, we've always had it just kind of in the back burner. That's how it should always be, just in the back burner. It's a roof over their head for their family right now. And one day, it may be the same for you and your family if needed, right? It was for my family when it was needed at that time. And luckily, I was able to get enough stuff going with real estate, as well as other blessings that we've had, to be able to buy our own property, right? And the same thing's going to happen for you too. But you got to trust it. You got to have faith. You got to take action. It's your belief in yourself. It's your belief in God. It's belief in your wife and your family, right? But it all starts with us internally first, okay? And then that's getting to the intimate relationship you want with your wife. And who do I have to become? Not her. Who do I have to be to get that relationship, right? Remember when you first started dating. Remember who you were when you first started dating, when you're trying to win her over, right? It's different than who we are now. So you want to re-court your wife. You want to try to date her again. You want to try to be romantic, right? You want to try to be the funny guy that was trying to impress her. You got to keep recasting that vision. You got to keep reselling her on who you are. And it was hard for me to hear that. But when I heard that, I was like, that makes a lot of sense. And I started messing around, and then Danielle was like, did Napoleon Hill tell you to do that? And I'm like, yeah, actually, I did hear it just now. And she was like, yeah, I knew it. And I'm like, yeah, that's messed up, And I was just being like how I used to be, just cracking jokes, just doing the things I used to do, not being the over analytical thinking, whatever, critical, never happy. Why isn't my food ready? Why isn't it hot? Aren't you cooking and cleaning for me? Right? Not that guy. The other guy that was trying to win her heart over, right? That was trying to show her that I was the man for her, just trying to make her want to be married to me. That's the guy that you got to keep trying to be. That's the fire. most important mastermind out of everybody is Ara, between you and her. And if you two can work in perfect harmony and strive to it, like when you hear perfect harmony, it's like, man, that's tough. But when you two can strive towards perfect harmony, now you'll be unstoppable. Now nobody can touch you. Now you are the man who you need to be to lead your family out, to get that house that you're going to get, to do those things. I already know you're going to do it. And I know it's going to happen. It's not if, it's when. But you have to know it. You got to believe it. You got to take action. It's not me. It's not going to be my payment. It's going to be your payment. It's going to be your hard work that's going to get you there. And it's not going to be anything that I did. It's not going to be because of me. I'm just the messenger. God's telling me to tell you these things right now because I care about you. I love you. And I know what you're capable of doing.
Yeah. No, man, this is awesome. I really appreciate just you taking this time, and it means a lot.
Well, I mean it, bro. So, and I love you and care about you guys. And if I can hand you a house, that'd be great, but it wouldn't be the same. You got to do it on your own. You got to do it through your hard work, through your partner, Ara, and your family, and you all coming together. And it'll happen when it's supposed to happen. And remember, it's not telling, it's asking, right? And it's always about understanding and trying to put yourself in the other person's shoes and perspective, being patient, being flexible, right? Letting it happen when it's supposed to happen. That patience is so hard. And that's the biggest challenge, but that's a virtue that you do have. But it doesn't mean that we're not impatient. I have a lot of patience in certain situations, and then I have no patience typically when it comes with disputes with my wife, or with my children in situations. And it's hard for me to deal with that. And it's hard when I'm confronted with that. I don't want to hear it, but it's the reality, and I got to get better. And I got to write about it, and I got to pay attention to it. And at the end of every day, write, what did I learn today? So after we wrap up, if you get a chance, start writing. Don't think about it. Just start writing. Write what comes to your heart. Write what you learned. Write what is important to you. Start drawing that vision of what you want your life to look like, right? And you got an amazing life right now. Appreciate what you have right now. You got an awesome job. Your wife's got an awesome job. You guys got a roof. You got plenty of food. We're living well in comparison to a lot of people out there right now.
Oh, yeah.
So be appreciative of that. But it doesn't mean you can't have big goals and big dreams.
I agree.
Sound good, brother?
Huh?
Said sound good?
No, it does. It really does.
So what's our next steps, man? What's our action items? I mean, do you want to do this again next weekend's Easter weekend on Saturday? Is it still something we want to do Saturday morning, or what? When would be the next day?
Yeah, I'm free Saturday morning, but I'm thinking too, if you have time, maybe even if we can meet for half hour, an hour, a week.
Yeah.
I'm open
during the week. Okay.
Yeah, maybe I'll leave it up to the schedule.
You said to my schedule?
Yeah. So for me, we're free. After 4:30, normally 5 o'clock. I'll take the kids out about 4:30 to 5.
Monday's the 6th, right?
Yeah, the 6th is Monday.
Yeah. So I may do a baseball
hour. Like 7 to 8 or something. Where we can even just do role playing, or we can just talk, or we can do.
Well, let's try. If you want to do that, what I've been doing. So I'm going to try to do a baseball practice for the kids on Monday. Then on Tuesday, I usually do my interview before I do the actual interview on Wednesday. So Tuesday, I've been kind of prepping for that. Wednesday is just a little bit tiring. So
maybe Thursday.
Yeah, I was thinking Thursday or Wednesday. But
we could do like a Thursday for like an hour, and then we could do, Saturday morning if you're up for that.
Okay.
I know for Easter we're just gonna be, well, of course we're gonna be home.
Right.
But yeah, we don't have anything. Not that I know of. We don't have anything planned.
Okay. Well, is 10 o'clock better for you on Saturday, or do you want to try earlier?
No, like 10. I think that's a good time.
That way it won't stress me out if something happens Friday night, I said it won't stress me out as much as like last night when I woke up. I was like in my own head because I knew I had to try to be on here at 9 a.m. So that's when I sent that text. So Mark, I'll just put Mark training on Saturday the 11th. Man, it's your birthday on Friday too.
Oh, on Good Friday. Yeah, I'll be, I don't know what we're gonna do. Be, different this year.
Maybe we'll do a Zoom beer drinking or shots or something Friday night. We'll see. So I got the training from 10 to 11 set for us, and we'll try to keep it in an hour on Saturday, especially if we do 2 during the week. And then Wednesday is Passover, either Wednesday or Thursday. Do you want to go for Thursday then? You want to try Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday would be.
You said between 7 and 8.
Yeah, I think that'll give us time to kind of just eat dinner before,
Okay.
kind of get out of the house for a little, and then eat dinner.
Okay.
And then if we do 7 to 8, that way, because kids normally we'll try to get them to start going to bed like right at 8.
Yeah, same here.
8:30. But yeah, if we could do 7 to 8, I think that'd be really good.
Okay. Well, let's try to make it, because I like to spend a little bit of time with the kids before they go to bed. So let's try to do 7 to 7:30. But if it goes to 8, it goes to 8.
Yeah, that's good. Even if we could do half an hour, just some time to kind of just connect, and then just I think the main thing is just connecting, and then either role playing or doing something real estate related.
Yeah. Well, let's start with these questions, because this is big, man. You got to get the mind and the heart right first. Yeah. Everything else comes together. So we start with this, then I can press you in terms of accountability when it comes time to, okay, all right, Mark, let's start taking action. Like, we're not making enough calls. We're not doing what we need to do to get you to your goal of being able to buy a house. But if I don't know exactly what it is, then I can't confront you. You know what I'm saying? I can't help you get to your goals until I know what it is that you're trying to accomplish. So I'm going to send you this list. I'm just going to scan it and send it to you. And it's got a little bit of the notes of what you've shared already, so you can build off of that. And then we'll just go from there. And there's 11 questions afterwards. I'll scan and send both of them to you. And then if I have the Word version, I'll send it to you. But if you need to retype it out, or just more of this is to write in your journal. It's always better to write. Try to get in the habit, if you can, 10 gratitudes and 10 goals first thing in the morning when you wake up. So when you wake up, just write 10 gratitudes, 10 goals. I'll teach you the affirmations, because I think I know it was good for me. And I'll share it with you. If you like it, do that too. But what's more important is writing in your journal and being clear about, okay, these are my goals, short-term and long-term. It's not tasks like, oh, I got to, pick up dog poop today. It's not that kind of stuff. It's your 10 goals. For me, it'll be like how much income I need to make this year. If I'm working on, okay, I need to spend more time with my kids. I need to spend an hour with my kids this afternoon. Whatever it is, I'm going to keep my goals in front of me so that I'm making sure I'm focused on it first thing in the morning. And then when you're about to go to bed, they say do the same thing, like write 10 gratitudes and goals, or write 10 wins. Or write any wins, like anything positive that happened that day. You want to write that before you go to bed. So instead of being fearful of what's going to happen, you're writing about what you're thankful for that happened that day. You're writing your gratitudes. And then also, these were my wins today. Win today, you and I spent close to 2 hours, it seems like. It's almost 1 o'clock. What time do we get on this? 10? 3 hours?
3, yeah.
3 hours on here, right? But we had a great session, great training session. Talked about a lot of important things, talked about things that are going to come up on these phone calls as you're making your calls. So you got a great head start. And again, a lot of good information, even from Saverio and, from myself, to really get you started on this. So, for me personally, that's what I'm going to write down as a win for today, right? Maybe my biggest win today. For yesterday, I finally waxed my car, right? That was a win. I haven't done that in years. It's been a long time. The other thing is, and now it's visually in my head, like now I want to work on it. And it started with some guy calling me out when I did a video, and he's like, dude, post pictures of your Mustang, on social media. And I was like, all right. So I sent like the old wedding pictures where it looks good. And I'm like, man, I got to make this thing look good again, So then that inspired me to go out and buff my car. My back's still hurting from it. That's why you see me keep doing it. But I spent a couple hours just buffing it out, and it looks good. Now I want to work on it. So it's that kind of stuff that triggers you taking action and living your dreams. You know what I mean? And now it's a goal for me for this year to get that Mustang running not just running, but like actually start working. If I get my paint job, so these are things that I'm going to build in.
Oh,
You know,
that's
when you
cool.
talk about vacation and that kind of stuff, you got to do it, because in reality, Mark, you're going to be grinding. You're going to be working hard. You're going to be your best to be the best husband, best father you can be every day. And it's going to be hard work from now until you get that goal of buying your house. Then after you buy your house, you're still going to have that same type of work ethic mentality. I'm going to move this out. But you're basically, if you want it that bad, that's what it's going to take. And you're going to need that trip to unwind and unplug. That's how I felt, man, when I was working, doing the management, doing my real estate, trying to be, you know, I don't want to say super dad, but trying to do all the coaching, trying to do, you know, everything I did with the kids. Bro, I won't say burned out, but I was spent, done, you know, every weekend handling phone calls, putting out fires, doing, mom and dad saw it, they were stressed for me. And I'm like, I'm good, you know, like I'm making the money I want to make. Everything's good. I'm going on my vacations, doing what I had to do. But when I went on that trip, bro, it was awesome, because I needed, and I tried to stretch it as long as I could. 11 days was the longest.
Oh, yeah.
I could truly check out and still got my work done. And I had like 4 escrows going and closed every single one of those escrows.
Wow.
And it'd be first thing in the morning, boom, 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 handle what I did, put the phone off, went off to the water, had my drinks, ate well, drank well, enjoyed the time with the kids. It was awesome, you know, and that's the way it's supposed to be. But bro, it was a grind the day I got back. All the way, all I'm looking forward to is the trip's coming up, the trip. Like, I just got to power through it. I got to close these deals, got to do what I got to do. That's what it is, man. And it's tough, bro. But when you do it like that and you can reward yourself with the trip, then it got to be, okay, I need one in the winter and I need one in the summer. Now I'm stressed about even doing our trip that we got planned that we're supposed to go in this, you know, in the summer. And it's like, I had it all lined up, dude. I had over 100K in escrow between the escrows or what was just about to happen, that we were going to be set, and it was done. It's like, cool. I can blink an eye and know that we got at least, if we needed 5 to 10K towards this trip, still pay all my taxes, still do everything I need to do, still have enough cash reserves, still pay down some debt, do the things I want, and we're good. Now it's like, okay, we got enough money to make sure we're good for at least a few months, like 2-3 months. And then after that, something better turn on. So that's why these pro agent leads become important now, right? That's why the sphere calls become important.
We're going to make pizza.
Okay, I'm going to be right out there. Okay, bud? So without getting into it too much, that's why the focus has to be clear. That's why you got to know what your financial situation is. That's why you got to know exactly what your goals have to be. You need to know how many closings you need to have. This is all critical if you truly want to own a home. If you truly want that to be your number one thing and you want it to happen, put a date down. Not just owning a home. When are you going to do it by? You got to make it definite. What house do you want? When do you want it by? That may change some, but start visualizing it, right? Start visualizing that.
Yeah.
Start taking massive action. And every day you write in that journal, you can already talk in the present tense. I own my first home, right? I own my own 3-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath with a yard, 2-story in this neighborhood. And you write it out. If you need to draw it, you need to have a picture, whatever, print them out, watch them online, start printing them out, start creating a folder and putting in the homes that you want to buy, that you will buy. And it's not want, it's you will do it. There's a difference in the words of wishing to wanting to doing it. Your words need to change to being, they will happen. It's definite. That might happen. It will happen. And it's when it's going to happen, and I will find a way. That's the difference. And they all say the same thing. Everybody you listen to, it's the same stuff. And there's power in our biggest gift that God gave us. I mean, he gave us many great gifts, but the biggest one is the ability to think. We don't use it. You may think you think, but you don't. You have to use the power of your thoughts to create the life that you want and live that life by design. But you got to believe it. You got to create it. You got to believe it. You got to take massive action towards it. And you got to know that you're going to find a way to do it. And you got to think for yourself. Don't be a pawn. Don't be played in this thing, man. Live your life. not anybody else's life. Live your life that you know you're capable of doing, but you got to find it. And you got to dig deep, and you got to do a lot of self-reflection, man. And this is all the stuff that, you know, I probably said the same thing over and over and over, but it's all the truth. And until you believe it, you know that this is the truth, that this literally is, you know, believe me, it's somebody who's speaking through me. It's a higher being that's speaking through me that is resonating these thoughts, because I know you and I care about you, and I know this is what you need to hear. And I know this is what you need to hear to take action. So it's not going to be like this every time. Different things are going to come up. But for me, this is what I feel, or what I'm being told to tell you, that this is what needs to happen. So as crazy as that may sound, it's what I truly believe, that it's not even coming from my own brain. This is coming from a higher being. You know what I'm saying? So
that's what I need too. You know what I mean? That's what I need to be, you know, when you tell me these things, it helps me, because it lights that fire. You know, it lights the action part, because it's one thing to want it, like you're saying, but it's another to actually make it happen. And that's where I got to get on. That's why I'm so glad we did this today, and we're going to continue doing it, because it's finally making it happen. Finally, the first step, I say, in making this happen.
Okay, that's awesome, brother. Well, I know we both need to get back to our family right now, so thank you for your time. This is awesome. No, it's a long one, so I'm gonna back it up on my hard drive, and then I'll upload it to YouTube. Once I get it, I'll send it to you on a private link. I can send it to Severio. It's up to you if you're comfortable with that or not. I don't think there's anything on it that, you know, whether he wants it. If he asks for it, I'll send it to him. But I'll have it uploaded, keep it unlisted, and then check it out whenever you need to. And then you don't have to go through the whole thing, but fast forward it to the parts that you want, and then re-listen to it. If you need that to get you fired up, get fired up. More importantly, it's not even my words, it's your words. It's what you said that you wanted, but you need to start believing in it. And sometimes you keep it to yourself. Sometimes it's important to say it, and there's power in the words that you say, you know, but more importantly, write it down. Take it from your mind and write it down, and start taking massive action. And it's pretty cool, man. I'm excited to see this, to be a part of this journey with you, to see it take shape. And there's nobody else that I want this to happen more for than you. So, you know, when I see it happen, it's going to mean a lot to me, and I'm having a hard time. And a lot of it, when you're seeing the bloodshot eyes, a lot of this is tired, but I can't hold my emotions back very well right now. So when you see me get emotional about it, it's because it's from the heart. You know, I love you, and love you, and I appreciate you wanting to take the time to open up, to be open. I know you're ready. And I know you're ready for the message. And that's all I'm trying to do, is share the message with you. It's not about thinking I got things figured out. I got certain things figured out. I got certain things that I know work for me, and I know they'll work for you. And just like Severio said before, we're not reinventing anything. These are things that have been passed down from generation to generation. But I've been on a search for truth. I've been on a search for the success principles, as well as a search to grow in spirituality with God. And that's where I really still need some help. And mom and dad are helping me with it. And, you know, and other areas that I'm still finding that, you know what I mean? So I think we all need to do that and really identify. And that's where those questions come into play. So I'm going to send that to you now, and then we'll get on to it. Otherwise, you'll hear me keep saying the same thing over and over and over. But love you, bro. And
thank you so much. It means a lot to me.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Well, you know, you and your family mean a lot to us, and hope you always know that, no matter what, no matter any dumb stuff that comes up, or any stupid situations where you and I may get into it over some dumb stuff, that means nothing. Never has. It's always been love. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And we got to get past any type of difference, because it's going to happen. Things are going to happen. It's part of how we're built, and that's part of being brothers. But what's more important is knowing that you always will have me, and I will have you as a brother to count on, and nobody's going to care for you more than us. And that's what I know about mom and dad as well. And that's what they would say. And I knew it hurt them, and where they were like, you know, we love you, and that nobody's going to care about you more in terms of business splits and everything else than us. Mm-hmm. And I know that. Yeah. And, you know, I was just kind of in the fog for some time before I had to really be real with myself and just accept that. But it's the truth. and they care the same way about you, and it's the same thing. So we're all here for each other, man. But we're very blessed, bro. So have a great day, and you know, probably wore you out. I don't know if you want to chill and, you know, have some drinks later on. I think I'm out of beer, bro. I've been running through it this last week with those Zoom meetings. Like, I was like, man, beer usually lasts me like 6 months because I normally don't drink.
Yeah, I've been drinking a lot more though.
I know. Well, because of those last few meetings, and then like yesterday, dude, I had 2 of them outside while I was waxing the car, bro. It was awesome. I was like, man, this tastes so good out here right now. You know, being in that hot sun. So.
That sounds good. But yeah, maybe later if you guys are down, or I don't know what you guys have planned, or
shoot us a time, maybe after dinner tonight or something. We'll try to do something.
Yeah, that's cool. Just see the family and connect with everyone.
Cool. All right. Well, maybe, love you too, bro. Maybe if you want to initiate something, like a text or something to everybody, because I'm usually the one sending it out.
Okay. Yeah.
People are blocking me by now, so.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you later, man.
Take care. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.